Today's ceremonial first pitch will be made by the general manager of the world champion Pirates in 1960 and 1971, Joe L. Brown.
Big leg kick, a lot of motion, no fastball.
We're going to cue in a moment. Okay, roller.
The ceremonial first pitch, the longtime general manager retired after the 1976 season, and a man who certainly was instrumental in putting together the current Pittsburgh Pirate Club. The Oriole lineup with Al Bunbury back in the starting lineup today. He got into last night's game as a pinch hitter, then stayed in. Of course, the big man last night was Garcia, with Singleton, Murray, DeCinces hitting fifth. Gary Renicky gets the start in left. Dower, Skaggs, and Martinez.
There is Dennis Martinez, still engaged in his warm-up. Rick Dempsey getting a rest today, but a man who knows Martinez inside out. Accordingly, I spoke with Rick and asked him to tell all of you about that man, Dennis Martinez.
Tell us about Dennis Martinez.
Dennis probably has the capability of throwing the best stuff of any pitcher on our staff. He throws harder, I think, than Flanagan, even though his ball doesn't move as much. But he's got a real hard curveball, a hard slider, and an average changeup. When he learns a good changeup like Flanagan, he's going to be as good or better than Mike, I think.
Not only that, he's had the rest he needed.
He definitely has the rest now. You know, the second half of the season, he didn't have impressive statistics. He threw some good ball games, but he just wasn't shutting people out, the teams that he should, keeping them to 1 and 2 runs. He's young. He's going to make mistakes, but he's learning, and we got a good game out of him in California. We should have won that ball game, and then he had more confidence against Pittsburgh. But he reminds me more of a National League pitcher. He'll go after you with that hard stuff. And he reminds me a lot of Bert Blyleven in a way, because Bert has the hard curveball and the hard fastball. But Dennis, like I just say, it's a learning process for him. And once he learns how to throw a real good ball game, he's going to be one of the toughest pitchers in the league to beat.
Of course, Skaggs is catching Dennis today, not Rick. But Rick, of course, we've talked enough about him. A great catcher, knows his people inside out. Al?
The Pirates out on the field defensively with the right-hander going for Baltimore. It's John Milner who gets the start in left field. Omar Marino, the key man in the buck attack, sets the table in the leadoff spot. Was 1 for 10 in the first 2 games, but had 2 hits last night. Dave Parker in right field, who has made a couple of scintillating plays already in the first 3 games. In the infield, Bill Madlock at third. The shortstop, over from the Mets in April in a key deal that sent Taveras to New York, Tim Foley. Phil Garner has been up and down. He's made some fine plays, and of course it was his error in the first inning of the first game that was instrumental in the Baltimore win. And Willie Stargell at first base. If this were the regular season, Stargell would probably be off today, sitting out a day game following a night game, but it's not the regular season. Ed Ott is back of the plate again. Ott being platooned with Nicosia during the series, and Eddie starting against the right-hander. And on the mound, Jim Bibby of tight end dimensions, 6'5", 242-pounder, 34 years old, born in Franklinton, North Carolina, lives now in Madison Heights, Virginia. Al Bunbury to lead off. Here are the umpires. National League umpire back of the plate today. Terry Tater, Jim McKean of the American at first, Paul Runge National second, Jerry Newdecker American third, Bob Engel National left field line, Russ Getz American on the right field line. 0-1 the count.
Well, I said at the top, you've got to watch the control of Bibby. If he's got control, he can be awfully tough. And Al, like you said, he's a big guy. He's really huge out there. He's awesome, and he throws hard. But his main key, he will not work fast. He's a fairly slow worker, but he has got to throw strikes. You can say that just about for anybody, but in Bibby's case, that has been his reputation at Texas, at Cleveland, before coming over here to Pittsburgh.
Gave the Pirates a good outing in Game 2 of the playoffs against Cincinnati. Fouled away, and the count on Bunbury is 1-2.
He is a classic example of what you would call Kentucky windage on that mound, because Unlike most right-handers, if you watch Bibby, he stands on the first base side of the mound. Now, he has done this because he has been wild, standing from the middle of the mound to the right-hand side, to third base side. He's moved over on this side to try and capture that control.
The 1-2 pitch is hit in the air down the left field line and curling back toward the corner and back out of play as Milner runs out of room.
They've just had a quick gun on him right off the bat, and he's up in the low 90s, 93, 94. So as I said, he can throw hard.
Bibby started the season in the bullpen and then worked his way into the rotation. Don Robinson was injured. Jim Rooker was ineffective. And Bibby making his first World Series appearance in game number 4 as the Bucks try to get even. 2-2. On deck, the man who made all the headlines this morning, Kiko Garcia, with 4 hits, 4 runs batted in, and the key blow last night, the 3-run triple in the 4th inning. Three and 2, just missing.
There's what makes it tough on an umpire. He's been high with every pitch. Balls high, the high strikes. Bumbry has fouled away, and now all of a sudden he comes back with a pitch that you might say is really a borderline pitch. That makes it tough on an umpire.
Bumbry hits it down to Garner. 1 away. Kiko Garcia coming up. 4 hits last night before the game. Howard visited with him.
Kiko, describe your feelings at suddenly coming from relative oblivion to being a World Series hero.
Well, it's a good feeling. I'm just glad I got a chance to pick up some of the guys because they picked me up pretty much all year long. So I was glad I had a good day, finally.
You didn't have
A good day is understating it. 1 out, bases empty in the 1st inning. 1-0. One and 1 the count on Kiko Garcia.
There was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. That's the second one he's had so far, and that's what Jim Bibby's fastball will do. There's some graphics to look at right there. 5
Pretty
times.
good company,
I would say pretty good company.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the count 1-2.
When Jim Bibby keeps that ball down like that, if he can keep the control and keep it down, that ball is going to tail and sink on him, and that makes him double tough because then when he comes up, he's got the velocity to make that ball take off. It'll ride.
You heard Chuck Tanner say he's become a pitcher. He wasn't the pure power thrower that he was in the American League. Garcia is certainly a better hitter than his .247 season's average would indicate, not just because of the 4 hits yesterday and the base clearing triple, but because he has a solid compact swing. He's a good line drive hitter, and he can surprise you with a clutch home run here and there. He did that during the season. He only had 5 in total, but a couple of them were game-winning blows.
The 1-2 pitch to Garcia. Swung on and foul trip and held by Ott, strike 3. So Bibby has come out smoking. 2 down.
Well, you can see Ott with a fastball, the location right inside. He's holding his glove there. He's not looking for any curveball, and he just throws it by him. Perfect location.
2 down, base is empty, and Ken Singleton is the batter.
That's a little misleading, that .333 average. Ken is honestly disappointed with the series he's been having thus far. He had 2 critical strikeouts, one with men on 1st and 3rd and nobody out, and one with the bases filled and 2 out. He went after 2 bad pitches thrown by Robinson.
1-0 the count. Earl Weaver in the driver's seat right now with the Orioles up 2-1. Game 5 here tomorrow, and then 6 and 7 in Baltimore. 1-1.
Well, there's 2 pitches right there. Ott's been calling the fastball. You see him put down the one. He'll move to the outside thigh. That's what he's using. Now he's going to come with the fastball inside. Going to try and tie him up a little bit.
2-1 the count on Singleton.
Going to go away one more time.
Curling foul, back out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Singleton, switch hitter. Kenny at 295 during the regular season. He's hit Bibby well during his career. 345 lifetime average against Bibby, who spent a lot of time in the American League with Cleveland and Texas.
Now Kenny Singleton sees that little white piece of paper blow behind Bibby. And as hard as Bibby throws when he's up in those 90s like we've talked about already, you don't want any distraction back there. Hitters are funny that way.
Chuck Tanner and Bob Skinner, the 2 men you just got a gander at.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. So Jim Bibby retires the Orioles 1-2-3, and at the end of the half inning, it's Baltimore nothing, and the Pirates coming up. The Orioles defensively, Gary Renicky started last night's game in center, then moved over to left. He's back in left field today with Al Bunbury in center field. And around in right for the Orioles is Ken Singleton. The infield remaining the same with Doug DeCinces stretching out his back muscles. Spent a lot of time on the disabled list early in the season with a back problem. Kiko Garcia, the shortstop. At second base, we saw Billy Smith in games 1 and 2, and Rich Dower in games 3 and now 4. And Eddie Murray, whom a lot of people think is the best defensive first baseman in the American League. Back of the plate is Dave Skaggs, who has become, in essence, Dennis Martinez's designated catcher. And Martinez on the mound. It's a situation that is relatively similar to what existed for years in Philadelphia and before that St. Louis, with Tim McCarver always catching Steve Carlton, serving as Carlton's not only designated catcher but designated ventriloquist from time to time. As you look at the Pirate lineup, Omar Marino in center, Foley at short, Parker, Stargell, Milner, Madlock, Ott, Garner, and Bibby. Steve's going to have to find a new designated ventriloquist next year because McCarver's retired.
That's right. And it kind of reminds you the times, too, that Ryan and Tanana, they always like to have Terry Humphrey catch. Sometimes pitchers just get into that little phase that they just feel comfortable with a catcher. And of course, everybody in sports are all over maybe is superstitious of some kind. Of course, ball players right at the top of that list.
That pattern, Don, goes back a long way. From Homosassa Springs in Florida, the Dodgers had a great right-hander named Dazzy Vance, and he would only pitch to a man named Hank DeBerry.
Omar Marino to lead off, Tim Foley, Dave Parker to follow. Earl Weaver, in talking about Skaggs and Martinez getting together, he says, well, you know, one thing it enables me to do also, it gives me a chance to give Dempsey 1 day off during the regular season.
Certainly a factor. In a World Series, he doesn't play with designated catchers. Rick had a long night last night. He's had a hard series, and he needed a day's rest.
Omar Marino looks at a strike. Martinez starts off with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
He can throw hard. He's got good stuff. Now watch this. Now he's going to go back to the fastball outside. Shook off the curve.
1-1.
Skaggs was a touch questioning on that call, wasn't he now?
Martinez a little question on that call too. You could see him just kind of looking, kind of raise an eyebrow. He's going to go back with a fastball away.
The 1-1 to Marino is line foul. I thought it was interesting that the two fellas are together all the time as battery mates, and yet Martinez shakes Skaggs off on just the second pitch of the game.
Well, the one thing about pitching and catching, the catcher suggests the sign, the pitcher okays it. If the catcher's going to call everything, why, that's going to make it tough, because you just can't go out there and throw a pitch that you really don't have your heart in. So that's what you usually say. The catcher will suggest it, and the pitcher will go ahead and okay it. Now watch this curveball if it's good.
Well, let me ask you something. If you have an all-time great catcher like Roy Campanella was, did you ever contravene Roy?
Every now and then, not too often when you're that young. When I first came up,
You
but I
wouldn't
would
have
go.
the nerve.
Well, no, because Jackie Robinson might come in and kick me right in the seat of the pants from third. Say you're taking too much time. Let's go.
2-2 on Marino, who led the league in stolen bases this season. Bounce to the left of Garcia. Nice pickup by Kiko. Close play, but he gets him. One down.
What speed Marino has, you know about that. About Garcia, he is not clearly the shortstop Belanger is, but his fielding has improved enormously because of Mark. Mark has worked with him on position play.
That's Jim
Pair of
McKeon.
gloves.
Yeah, the American League umpires will do that in cold weather. They have the permission to do that, and can't say that's all bad. The third base umpire Jerry Newdecker the same, and down the right field line, that's last night's home plate umpire Russ Getz. They all have the red gloves.
Tim Foley takes inside, ball 1. 1-0. Foley 2 for 13 in the series thus far. No score, bottom of the first inning. Bases empty, 1 out. 1-1.
You know, even though that Martinez had that the second half of the year was bad, and Howard, I got to believe he's first of all, from Managua, Nicaragua, and I got to believe that he had to have some family matters on the back of his mind too. Took him a long time to get through to his family down there, and of course they were going through the strife and everything down in that country.
Jim Palmer, for one, has a theory that Dennis is going the handle of the Bucks today.
Shot. Back of second. Garcia able to glove it, but his throw not in time. Pulling Murray off, and Tim Foley is aboard with an infield single.
You realize how far Garcia went for that ball? That is amazing. And the play, well, it wasn't real close at first base, but he made that play a heck of a lot closer than what it might have been. Look where he goes. He's in shallow center field. He's now on the second base side of the bag. And now this throw, he gets a little something on it. You know, Foley's across the bag, but he still made it a fairly close play. Foley had to hustle.
But the hit was a Foley kind of hit. The contact hitter who will find the holes.
So Tim is at first base with 1 down, and Dave Parker, 5 hits in the series, 4 of them in game 1 off Mike Flanagan. Bounce back to Martinez. He goes to Garcia. Kiko makes a nice play to throw and get him on a double play. Kiko Garcia first saving it from going into center field, able to make the force on Foley and then get it back to Murray.
Boy, that's a good play, Al. Martinez took his time. Garcia came back to the bag. He held his glove out, said, let me have it right here. Now all of a sudden, Martinez on the first base side on that slope, and look at the play that Garcia makes to double him up.
Wasn't it lovely the way he laced that foot over the bag? We'll be back in a moment.
There's another look at that double play that ended the first inning. You see the hands up. Garcia does not commit himself, and he's very fortunate for that. A good play, and then they double up Parker.
So we go to the second inning in game number 4. Middle of the order, Eddie Murray, Doug DeSensei, and Gary Renicky. Jim Bibby, after setting the Orioles down 1-2-3 in the first, starts Murray with a fastball low, ball 1. Eddie 4 for 9 in the series thus far. Most of his outs have been loud ones too. He's made solid contact over the first 3 nights.
One of the tough things about today, you've got the gray and white puffy clouds moving fast overhead. You've got patches of blue, bright sunshine coming through, and boy, that can make it tough on fly balls to the infield and the outfield.
Fouled back on the count, 1-2.
There it is, and that's what makes it tough. Right now the sun trying to peek back through, then it will cover up, and then bang, as the clouds move overhead rapidly, that sun pops out again as it is right now. Now you get a ball in the air, and it can be a little tough. You've got to be on your toes if you're playing that infield or the outfield, especially on the fly ball.
Those clouds get together and we'll get those snow flows.
That's right.
That's what they're predicting. Temperature in the mid-40s. Bibby, a deliberate worker, and the 1-2 pitch is fouled away.
And if you're sitting back thinking about, well, we'll duck this game in under the wire before that snow hits. You've got the two wrong guys out there for that, because both of these guys are fairly slow workers, Bibby and Martinez.
I think particularly Martinez. He can take forever.
Well, they both slow. Now Bibby's got the sign. Now he's going to get it one more time. Now he's got it. Now he's going to take a little time, and Murray's going to step out.
Bibby was a late bloomer. He was a rookie at 28 years of age. Had 2 years of duty in Vietnam. 3 years of college.
2-2 the count on Murray.
He's got a brother that can play a little bit with that big round ball too.
What a shooter. What a shooter Henry is. Oh.
Came out of UCLA.
Yes, sir.
Henry Bibby.
May be the best set shot since Chet Forty played for Columbia. That's right.
That's saying a whole lot.
Saying an awful lot.
2-2 on Murray. We'll see DeCinces next. And down he goes. So that's 3 successive strikeouts for Bibby, who has set down the first 4 men he's faced.
Now the pitch down just a little bit. And you see that breaking pitch, very quick breaking pitch. And Murray cannot make contact. Bibby right now, he'll go to the fastball. As I said before, it'll either ride. If he keeps it down, it'll sink. He has the curveball that we've seen, and there's a slider.
Doug DeCinces hit a home run in the first inning of game 1, and he's drawn a blank since. He's 1 for 12 in the series. Again, some papers blowing out in front of the plate. It's breezy again. It's a swirling wind in Three Rivers Stadium. One and oh the count.
Right now, it appears that Ed Ott is going to the sequence signs.
Please don't throw anything onto the playing field.
Instead of without anybody on second base, just going to a straight 1 flash, 2, or whatever it might be.
Two and oh the count.
Now, there are 2 reasons that come to my mind they might be doing that. Number 1, it just gets a pitcher in the habit, if somebody does get on second base, that he's working with those signs all the time. Or number 2, they've got the TV set going in the clubhouse and they've heard us talking about it.
I tend to think it might be the latter. 2-0 pitch is low, ball 3. 3-0. It's interesting. Some hitters, though, even if they have a coach who can pick up signs or somebody can tell them what a pitch is, they don't want to know it anyway.
No, they sure don't. And all it does is take one little mistake and someone says, okay, we've got the sign, here's the curveball, and you look for it, and all of a sudden you get a fastball up and in, and it's see you later.
One out, bases empty, no score in the second inning. 3-1.
Well, there's a case where DeCinces has got to realize who's behind the plate. That's a National League umpire.
That's right. Strictly a National League strike.
Terry Tata working the plate. And the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. So the Orioles have their first base runner.
Well, you mentioned Ed Ott calling sequential signs now. Ott knows Bibby. I talked to him about Bib before the game.
Eddie, tell me about Jim Bibby. What's he got to stop the Birds?
Well, Jim Bibby's an all-around pitcher now. He has excellent control of all of his pitches, and he changes speeds well. He's developed a change-up slider and a change-up forkball, and he's more or less a control pitcher. He keeps his pitches down well, and he spots them. He comes in and out, and he really keeps you honest. If you look away, he's going to bust you inside and more or less move you off the plate so he can work back outside. And he's a control pitcher and a power pitcher, and he's just an all-around great pitcher this year.
That's pretty nice.
A control pitcher and a power pitcher.
Change-up forkball.
Got a name for everything. Backup slider, change-up forkball. 1-0 on Renicky. DeCinces at first base and one away. 1-1.
Used to be a lot easier. They'd call the screwball the fadeaway in Christy Mathewson's time, and then of course there was the drop. Remember the drop?
That's right. Charlie Dressen, the late Charlie Dressen, the deep cut and curve.
The in curve, the out curve.
The 1-1 pitch to Renicky. Ball 2. 2-1 on Renicky. Renicky at one time thought he might go to USC, play baseball there for Rod Dedeaux, and John McKay, the coach at the time, was interested in him as a punter and a defensive back. There's Harvey Haddix,
the kitten,
Pirate pitching coach, who had Bibby when Jim was at Cleveland. 3-1.
This is the very thing, Al, that Don was talking about. Jim has to have his control. Otherwise, deep trouble and suddenly the long ball.
And you can see Jim right there just kind of thinking a little bit, trying to think about what he has to do.
The 3-1 pitch taken for a strike, so the count full on Renicky at 3-2.
That was the National League strike for sure.
Yep.
Renicky very much perturbed about the call. Look at it.
Well, we said the other night, the strike zone, first of all, you've got to throw it over the plate. It's from the armpits to the top of the knees. And that appeared that it was right at the top of the knees.
3-2 with DeCinces at first base and one down. No score in the second. DeCinces goes. The pitch is swung on and missed. Ox throw is high, and DeCinces is in there. So DeCinces got a good jump, breaking on the 3-2 pitch. Renicky striking out. That's 4 strikeouts for Bibby as DeCinces steals second.
Well, you can get a good jump on Bibby. He's got the high leg kick. The pitch is swung through. The throw by out, of course, a little bit high, but I believe DeCinces had the base stolen anyway. Luckily, Doug didn't get hurt on this. He could have got hurt pretty good. There's 2 gamers right there that are tangled up. I'll tell you that. Garner and DeCinces. They come to play.
Dower at the plate. Rich led the club during the regular season in game-winning hits with 14. 0-1 the count.
He is firing. 4 strikeouts, as Don told you. Renicky in there in place of Lowenstein. He's really perspiring.
Oh, he does.
Cold.
I'll tell you, you'll see. You might see some icicles out there as this game goes on.
Lowenstein has not been hitting well since he hurt his ankle. He needed this day.
0-2 the count.
He blew that one by him.
94 miles per hour on that pitch. Jim Bibby warming to the task.
Reminds me a lot of Don Newcomb. Don used to perspire so much, and it drip off the bill of that cap.
Not only that, similar physical structures.
You're both big guys. You're right.
0-2 the count. One and 2. It was interesting. Bibby worked up a pretty good lather in the playoffs in game number 2 on a cool night in Cincinnati. Didn't take him any time at all.
He's all the way through the bill of that cap right now.
He would melt away if it was 65 degrees. 1 and 2. 2 down. DeCinces at second. Popped up. Garner will take care of it. And that's that for Baltimore in the second. No runs, no hits, leave 1 in the middle of the second inning. The Orioles nothing, and the Pirates nothing in game 4. Willie Stargell to lead off, then John Milner and Bill Madlock. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the bottom of the second inning. No score. Wilbur Dornell Stargell. Born in Oklahoma, grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, living now in Pittsburgh. Big part of the community, physically and spiritually. 1-0.
Out here, Captain. That's what that sign says. As we've said, he can hit it anywhere.
Fouled away. And the count is 1-1. Dennis Martinez. Martinez had an up and down year. You take a look at the schedule for the next couple of games. Game 5 tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time, and Game 6 if necessary, assuming the Pirates win one of the next 2 on Tuesday night at 8. Martinez got off to a good start and really struggled coming down the stretch. He finished with the only losing record on the Orioles staff at 15-16, and the only reason he is even starting in the World Series is because of the rainout that took away the off day.
Martinez is a real high kick pitcher. This can become significant because the Bucks, if they get on, those who move fastest should really take advantage of that.
Well, they can. Both pitchers you can run on. You can run on Martinez and you can run on Bibby both. People have heard us talking about miles per hour with that jugs gun, and we'll get into that pretty soon, just right after this pitch me, because Weaver's a great believer in that. Right behind home plate, they have a member of, here comes the high kick.
See that?
The key to Martinez that Miller has, he tells him to keep that left arm inside that knee. When he gets outside, he pulls himself out a lot.
Stargell fouls it back into the upper deck.
But I was talking about Earl Weaver. Now, Earl Weaver will go with that jugs gun. He believes in that. Right behind home plate, they have a member of the Baltimore staff sitting with a jugs gun and a walkie-talkie, and he will relay the times of that particular pitch.
He was shaking his head at you.
Yes,
no,
you do,
no.
Earl. You do
No,
too.
Don, you're wrong.
But they do. They keep that, and they tell if a pitcher's losing velocity off his fastball. Right there. There's the gentleman. There's the jugs gun. Now
Now that would have been a National League strike.
I was watching the jugs gun.
They never had that in your day.
No, you're right.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The count on Stargell. Willie leading off in the bottom of the second. No score. Hit in the air to deep center field. Bunbury going back all the way back at the fence. Gone.
He can hit it out anywhere. So the great man comes through and gives the Bucks an early lead. His second home run of the World Series. Dead center field, about 410 feet on the fly.
Willie Stargell a home run in Game 1 and then back with one in Game 4.
Well, he got it all. He got it up high. There's a little breeze swirling around, checking the flag. It is blowing a little bit towards center. Bunbury thought he might have a play on it, but it just got over. That's good enough. Whether it goes over 1 foot or 2 feet, they call him back out. Boy, they love him here, don't they?
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to see. An athlete capture the hearts of a population the way that man has. He's one player they're never going to boo.
1-0.
You know what's amazing about it is John Milner stands in. He hits one about 410 feet, goes back in and just picks up a cup of coffee and has a sip and says, okay, let's go. There's your run.
Low, ball 2. 2-0 the count.
I mean, he hit it. That was a monstrous blow.
The sensei will visit the mound now, with Milner in the lineup today against the right-hander. Chuck Tanner platooning his left fielders, as was the case for much of the season, with Milner playing against the righties. Bill Robinson, who's been in the lineup against Flanagan and McGregor in this series, playing against the lefties. 3-0 the count.
I'd like to see that one again.
Skaggs a little unhappy, and there you see Martinez saying, well, was it low? And evidently he got a nod, and he says, well, I'm not quite sure. Take another look at it. You see Skaggs and get it down. Close.
Milner taking all the way in the count.
There's Willie. Phil Garner next to him. Those two are together a lot. I was telling you the other day how Willie handled Phil after Phil had made the big error in the first inning of the first game.
Hit on the ground and into right field for a base hit. So John Milner collects the third hit off Martinez here in the second inning. After Stargell leads off with a home run, Milner is aboard with nobody out. And up comes Bill Madlock. And this place rocking now.
You'll get these people right now. They will be rocking.
A lot of black and yellow pom-poms being waved.
Madlock with 3 hits in the series. Milner held on by Murray at first base. 1-0 Pirates in the bottom of the second. Madlock fits right in with these guys.
He sure does.
Bill unhappy in San Francisco. Didn't make any secret of that as Milner goes and Madlock drills it into the corner fair and then bouncing into the bullpen for a ground rule double that might have cost him a run because Milner was running on the pitch.
Well, it saved him a run for sure. We don't know what the outcome of the inning will be, but with Milner running, Madlock hooks it down the line, and right there to make the call is the left field umpire Bob Engel.
And Martinez was still in his kick, and Milner was halfway down the line and more.
You see, it just takes that big high hop and over the fence. Had it stayed in the playing field, the Pirates would have had a run for sure.
The pitching coach, Ray Miller, coming out to try to settle Martinez down.
Well, you'll see a lot of times the pitching coaches will come out the first time nowadays because they're the ones that work with these guys day in and day out. And the big thing right there is you see Ray Miller go back to the Baltimore dugout. There's what's coming up immediately following today's game, Oklahoma and Texas. But they will talk to him. And just if they're doing something that they might see from the dugout, as I said, they work with them all the time, and they can go out and they can relate to it.
Ed Ott coming up with runners at second and third and nobody out. Ott a starter in game 2. 1 for 3 in the series. The Oriole infield is back. So a ground ball could score Milner from third. Milner at third and Madlock at second. Outfield playing Ott around toward left. 1-0.
Well, the big thing right here, early in the ball game, you won't. And there he is again. He's
Stewart.
Sammy Stewart. You won't bring your infield in because the way the ball scoots through this infield, you bring him in now and the ball goes through. You've got 2 runs scoring instead of just 1. You'll give up the run for the out if you possibly can. Chuck Howard, our producer, said Sammy Stewart, who was throwing last night, has been throwing all night. Seems like we've been out here all night.
Right. Last night's game ending at what, about 12:40 a.m.?
Oh, it was long.
Quick turnaround, short night. A home run by Stargell. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Pirates threatening, 2 on and nobody out. The 1-0 to Ott is lined foul off to the left. 1-1.
He doesn't want to hit it that way. His job is to pull the ball.
You know, I really think these fans here in Pittsburgh, too, Howard, in your conversation with Chuck Tanner when he says this is the biggest game of the series, and he's so right. A lot of good baseball fans here in Pittsburgh, and I think they realize the same thing. They know that they can't let Baltimore go 3 up on them.
Don't forget, if this Bucs team gets a decent lead on you, they've got that whole bevy of relievers, great relievers. Task always of the opposing team is to stay close to the Bucs.
We've already seen what those relievers can do. They just slam the door.
But they are shelling Martinez. Ott wants to get around on this pitch, pull the ball.
Breaking pitch low and inside, 2-1. The outfield figuring that Ott's not going to be able to pull the ball, playing him the other way around toward left. Time called.
Well, the one thing for sure that we know, after today's game, Chuck Tanner is going to name his pitcher for tomorrow. He has not made that decision yet, but looking at the Pirate bullpen, we know it's not going to be Blyleven because he's warming up. He's getting ready for the next day, I would think. There's Burt.
Martinez appears unsettled with the National League umpire.
Ott hits it to deep center field. Bunbury was playing shallow, and it's over his head, and that's a ground rule double. 2 runs in, it's 3-0.
Ott thought he hit a home run.
He's coming home, but he's going to go back to second.
There, he touches home plate, and he's going to circle him again.
This is so typical of the Bucks. Always bouncing back, battling back. So the left-handed hitters are shelling Martinez. I wonder why Bunbury was playing that shallow, Don, against a hitter with Ott's power. Ott is not a singles hitter.
You know, the thing watching Al on the home run by Stargell and on that ground rule double by Ott, it appears the ball is carrying a little bit to center field, Howard. That ball was hit a long ways, and as we said on the home run by Stargell, Bunbury appeared to think that he had a shot at it, but that breeze is blowing straight away center field.
Still nobody out in the inning. It's 3-0 Pirates, and Garner is at the plate. Phil is 5 for 10 in the series. Lined in the center field for a base hit. Ott around third, and after hesitating, he's caught in a rundown as Skaggs starts to move him back toward third, and the tag is made by Desenze.
That ball was almost thrown away by Skaggs. It was thrown high. But Desenze, a tall man, was able to corral it and make the tag.
What they almost made the play, and it was almost fouled up, and that was by Eddie Murray, because here's the throw. They're letting it come, and now that ball is deflected. And see, it comes up the line, but Ott is a dead duck as he comes around. He realizes he's caught. He's just trying to give Garner a chance to go to second base.
See
he
the
does
throw?
so. There's Ott again coming around. Joe Lynette waving him all the way. Now he starts to stop. And I start to stop again. He says, I shouldn't even be here.
Of course, this was the controversial play in the 9th inning of the second game. Murray effecting a cutoff. Here he deflected the ball. Ott, the runner, coming in to score the winning run. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, we are finally going to take a look at Sammy Stewart, who last pitched on the 29th of September, but was up and throwing in the bullpen seemingly every 15 minutes during the playoffs, and thus far in the World Series likewise. He comes in with 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. It's 3-0 Pittsburgh.
Well, the Bucks are a team that chews up secondary pitching. As you look at Phil Garner, who is now 6 for 11 in this World Series. Don't forget, we've got a special Sunday edition of NFL football, 9 o'clock Eastern time. You couldn't have a better matchup in the National Football League. The Cowboys against the Rams, who apparently are coming on in the wake of their victories over the Cardinals in New Orleans, putting good, solid games together up to the quality of their personnel. Here's Bucks pitcher Jim Bibby.
Bibby standing in with 1 out. Garner at second base. Stewart, hard thrower. Sammy should be up 92, 93, 94 miles an hour. 6'3", 210-pounder. 1-0 the count.
That was a big mistake Ott made in that base running. Really was. You don't want to cut off what could be a tremendous inning.
Now the thing is, there's still 3 runs on the board with 6 hits. And you now have 1 out.
Line back to the pitcher, Stewart, and then Sammy throws it into center field. Garner, after falling down, gets up and holds on as the throw comes into the sensei.
Boy, there's a heads-up play by Bunbury, because it looked to me like Stewart, all of a sudden, he threw a double. But Bunbury got over there in a hurry, and he cut it off.
You know, looking at it again.
There it is one more time. Garcia going back over there. They might have had it. It would have been a close play, but now he throws it behind Garner. And here's a heads-up play by Bunbury. He is there backing up. Everything is in front of him, and he's where he should be.
Going back to the play on Ott. The other night in that 9th inning, when he scored the winning run, he went through the sign, and he talked to me about that. And he went through the sign in this inning too, or so it appeared to me.
Well, he was out a long
Sometimes it
ways.
goes for you, and sometimes it doesn't.
Omar Marino grounded out in the first. 3 for 15 in the series thus far. 2 down. Oh, 1. Stewart on in relief of Martinez, and there is Steve Stone. Stone was listed as a possible for tomorrow, but we understand now that Earl Weaver is going to come back with Mike Flanagan tomorrow.
If I were Earl Weaver, that's what I'd do. But Stone is a canny pitcher. He won one of the biggest games of the year, a game I mentioned the other day, 2-1 over Milwaukee on a Monday night. Went the route.
1-1 on Marino.
Stone's a cunning kind of worker, you know, Don?
He does. He's got good stuff. He's always had a good arm. I've always liked Steve Stone. He's a battler, too. This young man right here, he has a couple of different styles of pitching a game. I saw him start a game against the Angels when he threw 95%, it seemed to me, breaking pitches.
2-1 the count. This is the first time in the series that Weaver has had to go to his pen this early. Flanagan went all the way in game 1. Palmer went 7 innings in game 2. McGregor all the way last night and this morning. And now Earl has to go to the pen to get Stewart. You gotta love watching Weaver. That's lined into center field, being waved in. Garner rounding third, and the Bucks lead it 4-0.
If Bunbury would have known what was happening to Garner, he'd have made a play at the plate. But Al did not know what was happening, because Garner was stumbling and almost went down coming around third. He charges the ball well. You see him timing himself to get into position to throw. Now, if he'd have let it go, he might have had a shot, because Garner, as he was stumbling coming around, he just decides, well, now it's too late. Now that I've seen what's happened, I can't get him.
So 4 runs over in the inning, and there he is. There's Garner stumbling around third, as Don just mentioned, and Bunbury concentrating on picking the ball up, and by the time he realized what had happened, too late. Tim Foley, the 8th man to come up in the inning. 1 for 1 today, an infield single. Stewart with a good move, and he's got him. So Marino at first base with 2 down in a situation where he might be going, and he gets picked off. So an inglorious end to the inning for the Bucks, but they come up with 4.
It's a good move, too, and they've got him dead to rights, and Jim McKeon, the first base umpire, is right there on the call.
4 runs, 6 hits in the inning. And at the end of 2 in game 4, it's Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing. Well, number 8 has been number 1 in Pittsburgh for a long time. He's the man who got the inning started with a home run. And as we mentioned before, it's interesting because were this the regular season, Willie would be off today. Tanner would sit him down and rest him after a night game, especially one that lasts until 12:30 something in the morning, as was the case last night. But Willie in the lineup today, and the home run got the Bucks moving in the bottom of the second.
Yes, but we still haven't had a really well-played game in this series. In that inning, the Birds got 1 buck out, and the Bucks took 2 of themselves out.
That's exactly right.
Nothing but mistakes.
Dave Skaggs, he's hitting for the first time in the series, and time called again. We've got hot dog wrappers and other paper blowing out onto the field from the stands. As we take a look at some scores in college football, the second-ranked Crimson Tide leading Florida 7-0 in the first quarter, and Ohio State out in front early against Indiana.
The Pittsburgh Panthers played here at 10 o'clock in the morning. Not on this field, of course, but they beat the Cincinnati Bearcats 35-0.
You were over there early, weren't you?
Yeah, Al was over there. Sure. He came here, and tonight he's going to the hockey.
0-2 pitch. Bounced. It takes a wicked hop, and Madlock able to stay with it, but Stargell can't dig it out. So the ball looked like it might have hit the seam where the dirt meets the turf at third. Madlock eaten up by it, and Skaggs is aboard at first base.
Now that ball was exactly just about what you said, Al. It was pretty good. It was just a routine ground ball, but then all of a sudden it hits right. Well, it comes up on the dirt, and then it comes up on Madlock, and now his throw is offline. Stargell has no chance. He just takes a big swipe at it, and you've got the heads-up second baseman Phil Garner right in behind him to back it up.
We said we have not had a really well-played game yet.
They haven't made a judgment or a call on that yet.
Now, this is an interesting thing. Weaver is letting Sammy Stewart back. You know, you don't question, quote, the greatest manager in baseball, quote.
Sammy Stewart.
At least it's not the disposition of many to question Earl, because he won 102 games, and almost by consensus, there's no better manager. He just has faith in his team's ability to scratch back.
Well, I thought that they'd put him up there and have him bunt. And you're just gambling that he might pick up a run with Bumbry and Garcia following, but there was no attempt to bunt right there. It's a ground ball and a double play, and then you kind of scratch your head a little bit.
0-2. Meanwhile, they've scored the bouncer by Skaggs, an error on Madlock.
Which it should have been.
You talk to Bill tomorrow. 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Blew it by him. 5 strikeouts for Bibby. That one, 94 miles an hour.
Center fielder, Al Bumbry.
So Bibby, working with a 4-run cushion, has struck out 5 of the first 9 men he's faced, and Al Bumbry comes up, bounced out in the first inning.
Let me explain why I think, Don, Earl did not bat for Stewart. He said if I made a mistake in the second game when I talked to him about not bunting Lowenstein, it's that I used up my pinch hitters too early in the game, referring to people like Kelly and Crowley. And maybe that's his thinking here. We'll find a way to pick back a run or two, and then later in the game when I need these guys, I'll have them to call them.
All right, I can see that. I'll go, but you just gave him an out there by letting him hit. Why not bunt?
That I agree with.
1-0 the count, and it's 1-1 on Bumbry. See the papers blowing around now, the wind really swirling.
There's no question that I'm saying about Baltimore, they don't have the bench that Pittsburgh has, and I can see exactly what you're talking about, what Earl Weaver was talking about. There you see the wind blowing the banners around, but to me, you just gave him an out, and you can't afford to give away outs. I don't.
Not the way this guy is pitching.
2-1 the count on Bumbry.
5 strikeouts.
Well, he was on the bench for 23 minutes in that second inning for Pittsburgh, but it doesn't appear that it's affected him any.
Line foul, and the count 2-2.
Great night of entertainment tonight on ABC. 2 hilarious new comedy hits, The Ropers and Detective School. Following, it's an all-star Love Boat, and then Robert Wagner and Stephanie Powers star in a new adventure series, a hit series, Heart to Heart. All tonight, beginning at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC.
2-2 pitch, bounced up the middle and into center field for a base hit. That's the first Oriole hit as Skaggs stops at second.
Al, that's just what Don Drysdale was talking about. Had he bunted the pitcher whom he elected to let bat, that hit would have scored a run, and they would have scratched back 1.
Now they'll have a little chat with Bibby right now just to kind of settle him down a little bit, because now you start moving into a little bit of the power part of the Baltimore lineup. Garcia, not necessarily a power hitter, but he'll spray the ball around. Then you've got Singleton, Murray, to Sensei Renicky coming up behind him.
Have you been approached for a managerial job?
I had before, but I like it up here with you.
After Coleman, the question is, have you been approached, Howard?
That's right.
After Benny Ayala.
Yeah. Kiko Garcia. Outside, ball 1. Garcia struck out in the first.
Those clouds are now coming together.
They are coming together, and I know that Chuck Tanner's sitting there hoping they want to get 5 in for sure and still be on top.
And the temperature is dropping. Foul back. 1-1. The cloud cover started out. It was a very sunny and clear morning, and scattered clouds moving into the area, and now pretty good cloud cover.
Forecast for snow flurries.
We've seen those before.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
14, 15 hours ago. 1-1 pitch. Low, ball 2. 2-1 the count on Garcia.
You platoon as many guys as Weaver does. It's also welcome to the 1979 Winter World Series. You platoon as much as Weaver does. It's hard to pinch hit early.
It's 3-1. Bibby, brief control trouble in the second inning. He walked the Sensei, then fell behind on Renicky, but came back to strike him out. Now with 2 on and only 1 out, he is 3-1 with Garcia.
I'm sure Earl Weaver, he's got an idea in the back of his mind what his ball club can do against Bibby. Lifetime, Bibby is 5-7 against Baltimore. That's when he was with Cleveland and Texas. He feels as though if they can just hold Pittsburgh right here, they got a whack at it.
Hit to deep left center field. John Milner racing back, and that one bounces up against the fence. Skaggs coming in to score. Bunbury coming in to score. And Garcia, last night's big man, picks up a 2-run double to make it 4-2.
What we've talked about, the unexpected heroes. This kid has rocketed international attention. His 4 hits last night, the 4 ribbies, the base clearing triple, now 2 more ribbies.
Well, he got behind the count 3-1, and he got the fastball up over the plate, and Garcia is looking nothing but fastball. He got it, got out in front, timed it well, and hit the ball well.
Well, I've decided that maybe Tommy Lasorda is right. Weaver walks with angels.
Ken Singleton hits it foul, 0-1.
So they're back in the ball game, and we've got another of these head-to-head battles between 2 teams that seem so evenly matched.
Remember last night it was the Pirates that jumped out in front, as was the case today. They led 3-0. And it was Garcia's triple that was the big blow that brought them from behind. Now Kiko has them right back in it. And the 0-1 to Singleton is low and outside. In the bullpen for the Pirates, there is Don Robinson, who appeared in the first and second games. And we mentioned last night, and Tanner confirmed it, he did not want to use Robinson last night. He's been bothered by shoulder stiffness through the season, but Don is up and throwing now. That's hit deep to left center field. Marino is racing back, and that one hits the bottom of the fence as Garcia rounds third. He'll come in to score. The throw to second is not in time, and it's 4-3.
Now that's the Kenny Singleton we've grown accustomed to throughout the season.
So they are teeing off on Bibby here in the third.
And he gets a fastball out away from him, and Kenny, we've said before, has got terrific power to the opposite field. He hits that ball well up the gap, no chance whatsoever to run it down. It short hops off the wall. Right there to make the play is Marino. A close play at second base. As Garcia scores, it's 4-3 Pittsburgh. There's a play at second base. He makes a good strong throw.
Eddie Murray.
Singleton has to hustle all the way.
So the tying run at second base, still only one out of the inning, and Eddie Murray struck out in the second. Half swing.
They can appeal it.
They'll appeal.
I don't think
They
it'll
call
get
it.
it.
He got a strike.
Got a strikeout.
Yes, sir. Jerry Newdecker, the American League umpire at third base, made the call.
We characterized the pitching situation going into this game and the opening of our telecast as iffy.
There it is. Yes, he did.
You think he did?
I think he did. Matter of fact, I can look at the scoreboard and tell you he did.
How quickly the Birds got back in this game.
On those half swings, everybody used to think, well, you've got to break your wrist, but really it's become a case, Don, of almost intent being the factor that determines whether or not a strike is called.
Well, they're looking at that, and they're looking about where the bat crosses over the plate. There you see what's coming up following today's game. Oklahoma and Texas. Keith Jackson down there to give you all the play. But they're looking at that bat coming across the plate, Al. And if they take that sweep across the plate, and Eddie was out there quite a ways.
Oklahoma, Texas. In that weather, that'll be some ball game. Billy Sims, Heisman Trophy winner.
I've almost forgot what that kind of weather's like.
And Texas with a defense that is tough to crack. Sooners against the Longhorns.
Murray backing out on Bibby with the count 0-1, one away. The Orioles with 3 in the inning to pull to within 1.
But you got to remember the door was opened by Matlock's error. The same shoddy fielding play we've been talking about.
1-1. Ran it in on him. 1-2.
There's a good pitch by Bibby right there. You've got to move the ball in and out on Eddie Murray.
He resents the fact that he's labeled a fastball hitter only. He says, I wouldn't be up here and I wouldn't have 99 runs batted in.
Bibby taking the time, trying to think himself and pitch himself out of this jam. And Murray, who likes to get in, most hitters like to get in there and say, let's go, let's play. They don't like pitchers that take a lot of time. They like to get in there, key themselves up, get set, and go.
And down goes Murray. So Eddie strikes out for the second time. Bibby has struck out 6.
Good slider. And Murray just got it timed pretty good. He just swings over the top of it.
With 2 down, Doug DeCinces drew a walk in the second inning.
You know, Howard, what you said before seems even bigger and bigger right now with this 4-3 Pittsburgh score and lead, with the Pirates running themselves into 2 outs and Baltimore only getting 1 out, which could have been a very big second inning for Pittsburgh.
That's right. That's why those plays are so important. They add up. The accumulation of uncapitalized upon opportunity can kill you. It's the same in every sport. In football, it's turnovers, mistakes. In baseball, it's the same thing. This is one of the reasons why your old team, the Dodgers, have always excelled, because they so stress the fundamentals they don't make the mistakes.
Hit in the air, left field, shallow, Foley out, and Milner coming in, and Milner makes the catch. But in the inning, the Orioles get right back in it. 3 runs, 3 hits. The big error by Matlock. Middle and third. 4-3 Pirates. Tim Foley in a new uniform in a new city enjoyed his best season. In 1979, he'll lead off, and earlier, Howard chatted with him.
Well, with the season you've had, you were finally properly rewarded, a 5-year contract.
Well, it's a great feeling. You know, I have that security for my family. You know, there's a lot of priorities in my life now. My family's one of them, my future's one of them, and now I've got that secured. So I feel real good about that 5-year contract. With the situation I'm in back of Omar Marino and in front of Dave Parker, it's fun for me. Anybody in my situation who hits the ball like I do, just sprays the ball around and just tries to make contact, it's the ideal situation, and I'm glad to be here, and I hope that everybody stays healthy for about 5 years and we can win.
Tim Foley leading off in the bottom of the 3rd inning. What he said, interesting. He's wedged in there between Marino and Parker, and what a difference that's made. 1-1. Tim with the Mets and Montreal and San Francisco gets wedged into the middle of this lineup, and he's blossomed this year. Fouled away.
And the Pirates are happy that they have him to put in that wedge. I'll guarantee you that.
Look at that. You know, Foley is the first player in 50 years to have erred in the first 3 games of the series.
He fights it off and bounces it down toward third, and DeCinces has no play. You can hardly get one in on Tim's hands because his hands are up by the label.
Well,
that one off his thumb.
That ball rolling down the line, and it's just hugging the line all the way. DeCinces coming on and realizing that he has to try and make the barehanded play or just get it and throw off balance, but then he can't find the handle. He gets the ball, and then after that, it just pops right out of his hand. I don't believe he's going to get Foley anyway.
No, he wouldn't have gotten him anyway. And again, Foley, the contact hitter, so hard to strike out. Now, if you want to know why he talked about being behind Marino and ahead of Parker, well, Marino gets on base. The pitcher throws fastballs, and Foley is a fastball hitter. So it's helped him enormously in his season-long batting.
Oh, that's so true. You get any man that can handle the bat a little bit, and you get a man that's in front of you with any speed that has any consistency of getting on base, and boy, I'll tell you, that is just the ideal position to be in. First of all, you don't want to throw a lot of breaking pitches with a man on first who can run.
The 1-0 pitch to Parker, fouled back, in the count 1-1 on Dave. Foley at first base. Tim with 2 hits today, both infield singles. The Pirates already with 8 hits. 4-3 Pittsburgh. Two and 1 on Parker. Stewart's last pitch clocked at 90.
Well, we got action down in the Baltimore bullpen again. A couple of right-handers up and throwing.
That was a good pitch.
In the bullpen.
That's Stoddard on the right.
And Steve Stone, who was up earlier.
That's right. Stone and Stoddard.
The 2-2. Hit to center. Bunbury is right there. 1 out.
Stoddard, eh? The way the Bucks have been hitting out toward those walls, they'll put them in to get the rebounds. Penn State 7-0 over Army. The Mountaineers 7-0 over Boston College, and William and Mary 7-0 over the United States Naval Academy. Army, an improved football team. Lou Saban putting together the nucleus of something.
Beat Stanford a couple of weeks ago.
Which is not easy.
Willie Stargell looks at a strike. Stargell, 410-foot homer in the second inning.
There was a good curve ball right there.
Another 0-2.
Lord, that Stoddard, as I look to the bullpen, is a huge man.
Yeah, there was a man that was released by the White Sox. Baltimore picked him up.
He was not released by North Carolina State, however, where he was a great basketball player.
Hit fair down into the right field corner. Foley headed toward third as Ken Singleton plays it in the corner, and they will hold Foley at third on a double by Stargell.
Can you imagine how Stargell can be looking for that pitch in there after looking the way he did at 2 curveballs? And he got a fastball in a pretty good location, and Stargell just hooked it inside the bag.
He will do that to you. The senior citizen, he calls himself. 38 years of age, and all of the snap and crispness in that bat has remained intact through the years.
Well, time's going to be called. Ray Miller going to go out, and he's going to talk to Sammy Stewart a little bit. Milner, the hitter. You've got first base open, and Madlock coming up behind him, a right-hand hitter.
More college football scores. The Big Green and Old Eli, 0-0 the second. Brown and Penn, 7-7. Cornell under Blackman, building a team, 13-0 over Harvard in the second. And the Tiger is rolling over the Lion, 14-0 in the second.
Here it's 4-3 Pittsburgh. The Pirates getting 4 in the second. Baltimore coming back with 3 in the third. And now the Bucks threatening again in the bottom of the third inning with 1 down. Tim Foley at third, Willie Stargell at second, and John Milner 1 for 1 standing in. And they will walk Milner and work on Madlock.
Well, that's about it. They'll go with the percentages, right-hander to right-hander.
You have to do it, but certainly you have trepidation in doing it because Madlock is a far better hitter than Milner.
These are the kind of positions that a manager does not like to see himself put in.
That's exactly right.
You don't like to have to make this decision, but
you have to play for the double play, and you have to pit the righty against the righty. You have no choice.
And especially when you already know that Madlock doubled his first time at bat.
They're loaded up. The Oriole infield, double play depth. Madlock, a double, scored a run in the second inning. One away. Fouled away. 0-1 the count on Madlock.
I tried to lip read that. What did he say? Could you?
No.
Bounce down to second. Great play by Dower to Garcia. 1 back to first. They get the double play. So the strategy worked.
Yes, it did. They made it work. Good play by the second baseman.
What a play by Dower, because that ball, he kicked back on him after it hit the dirt. We'll take a look at it again as Madlock hits it hard by Stewart. Now Dower going over, and now it takes a skip back on him. You see, he almost overran the ball. Then he comes up. The ball was hit so hard, all he's got to do is make the routine play after that, and there's the little ball beach runner. He's out there because I don't think he touched second base.
So they come up empty in the third. We go to the fourth. It's still 4-3 Pittsburgh. Gary Renicky leads off in the fourth inning. He'll be followed by Dower and Skaggs. 4-3 Pirates as we start the fourth inning. And the first pitch is inside ball one. Here's another one of those in the neighborhood double plays that ended the bottom of the third inning. The great play by Dower. And then Garcia, questionable as to whether he touched second or not. 1-1 at the type of play in which the umpire almost invariably calls him out. Here it is again.
Now the throw is right there, as I said before. Ball beats runner, runner out.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do you mean in the neighborhood? Again, he laced the bag with his glove.
I don't believe he did.
1-2 the count.
That's Mrs. Gary Renicky. I tell you, I don't believe Earl Weaver. Now he has Dower at second base to make that play.
Hit sharply. Great stop by Madlock, who gets up and guns him down. So the man who made the key error that got things started for the Orioles in the third makes a sparkling play to Rob Renicky here in the fourth.
Well, he took away a double right there. There's Madlock. Crack of the bat. He goes over. And now, there it is. He's got it already. That ball was hit hard.
He saved a double.
There's another look at it from another angle.
To the backhand. And he saved a double. Tell you the history of...
As Dower singles into left field with one out.
Now you can see how big that was.
Now you've got a tie ball game if Madlock doesn't come up with
right.
that.
Robinson working again in the bullpen. I mean Roberts this time, not Robinson. Roberts, the bearded one, a veteran who's been so much travel. Let me tell you something, Don.
Catcher Dave Skaggs.
There's got to be some luck to having the right guy in the right spot. Some luck all the time.
Well,
they threw Weaver in the Boston, in the Charles River. He'd come up the other side with a fruit stand.
Dave Skaggs inside ball one.
I don't believe you. Well, you know what, you've got to have luck too, Howard. There's no question about that. But I'll tell you what, they still won more games than anybody in baseball. But it would have been interesting to follow them all year long. I think it's just shown so much in this series.
Foul away and the count 1-1 on Skaggs.
More college scores. Clemson over Virginia Tech 14-0 the second. Duke beating Richmond 14-0 the second. And the Mies in blue. Wolverines 17-7 over Minnesota in the second. Oshembeckler riding high.
Two and one on Skaggs. In the bullpen for Pittsburgh now, Enrique Romo, the right-hander joining the left-hander Roberts.
Well, I'll tell you the pitching history of Bibby. You got to get him early. If he gets past the fifth inning, he suddenly becomes very, very tough. At least that's his pitching history.
And he's behind on the count again. 3-1 to Skaggs. The pitcher due up next, but there is Lee May out on deck to bat for Stewart. So Lee May, and the only reason, of course, he isn't playing on an everyday basis in this World Series is the absence of the designated hitter rule. The 3-1 pitch. Taken for a strike, and the count full on Skaggs. Pittsburgh leading 4-3. Full count, Dower at first base. Dower does not go, and the pitch is fouled straight back.
Well, that's Dave Skaggs' pride.
Come on, Dave.
Dressed well for a football game.
You'll be back here, what, a week from Monday?
Denver at Pittsburgh, Monday Night Football. Should be some game.
Grounded toward the hole. Foley goes to Garner, one to first, turns it over for two.
What a turnover at second, and what a good play by Foley. That was a tough play. I didn't think they had a chance in the world. Now watch Timmy as he goes to the hole, and as he throws, he just gets himself in position while he's off the ground.
And Garner able to turn it over for two. So in the middle of the fourth inning, 4-3 Pittsburgh. Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Don Drysdale. Has it been 8 years already? The first World Series night game played right here in the 71 series. That was the year they played one game at night to experiment. The following year they went to 3 games at night. And in this series, 5 of the contests scheduled at night. Tomorrow a day game, a late afternoon game. We'll be on the air at 4 Eastern.
Yeah, that's one of the I think that's really worked out well. Al has given so many people a chance across the country to watch the World Series that otherwise might have missed it during the daytime when they're working.
Exactly. Instead of sneaking in the transistors to work or school.
That's right.
Sit back and relax.
Exactly why newspapers are put out in the morning. Reach the most number of readers.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ed Ott, leading off in the bottom of the fourth inning, and the count 2-1. Three and 1 the count.
Yeah, the way this series goes, and of course after every series, why there's so many stories that you hear, somebody comes up somewhere around the country and says they predicted every one of these games the way it's turned out. I want to talk to them.
Go to Las Vegas, you'll find a lot of those.
Yeah.
3-1 pitch is fouled away by Ott. Ed Ott, converted outfielder. There is Tim Foley. Great double play. Started on the ground ball by Skaggs, going to the hole. And then turned over by Garner. 3-2 pitch is lined to left field. Renicky going back and has a play on it, makes the catch. You know, Howard, you talk about the fact we've seen a lot of shoddy fielding in this series, a lot of errors. It's been interesting, though. We've seen some great plays.
Yes, there have been flashes of defensive brilliance, no question about it. That Ott is a deceiving hitter. He's the guy Bunbury played too shallow. He gets a lot of wood into the ball. Said to me today, "What do you mean, tree trunk?" I said, well, it's an attempt to describe the stocky nature of your body, Ed.
Garner bluffing a butt, and the count is 0-1.
Well, that's the man who held together so well for the Bucks. He'll pitch Tuesday night if necessary.
1-1.
Lila.
Interesting to see who Tanner comes back with tomorrow. Chuck is as yet undecided. He started Bruce Keeson in game 1.
I got to guess Keeson, Al.
Yeah, I don't see whom else.
1-2 the count.
He's not as deep in starting pitchers, as quality starting pitchers, as is Weaver.
Grounded into the hole and through for a base hit. So Garner is 2 for 2, and in the series now, Phil has 7 hits in 12 trips to the plate.
Bucks win the series. Despite his defensive lapses, he can wind up the hero. Hey, look at that. Georgia tied with LSU, which gave USC such a tremendous tussle, and Georgia's lost 3, tied at the half. Johnny Majors and his Volunteers in a tie with Georgia Tech. Maryland and the Wolfpack tied in the 3rd period, and Wake Forest leading North Carolina, and Wake Forest can do it to anybody. Alabama, the Crimson Tide under the Big Bear, rolling 14-0 over Florida, 12-0 in the second period. Ohio State over Indiana.
Jim Bibby lined out in the second inning. Bounced sharply back to the pitcher, who goes to second, and oh, look at that takeout, but he's out. Kiko Garcia.
Did you see Garner? He gives nothing away. Looking at the umpire, waiting to see if he would call him out.
Well, the throw was right there. Garcia just was trying to make the catch and then try to get out of the way, and Garner taking him out all the way, so they can't double up Bibby at first base. Good heads-up play by Garner. Earl Weaver wants to talk, I believe, to the second base umpire, Paul Runge, about exactly where Garner was when he went in. But he's all right. He slid a little late, but Garcia was standing right there.
He's also out there to check
Garcia's physical condition. That's right. But Earl goes out very pointedly, as we have told you, to make a show and establish position with the umpire. Try and have an edge on the next call. Tippy Martinez.
You know what I love about Weaver is that he's so up front. He very rarely minces words. What was it, about 3 or 4 years ago, Mike Cuellar, toward the end of his career at Baltimore, he was upset because he wasn't getting a chance to pitch very much and said so, and it was written. And Weaver said, "What is he talking about?" He said, "I've given him more chances than I gave my first wife."
Well, the thing is, you've got to stay within the length of your body from the bag, and that's certainly what Phil Garner does. He goes right over the bag with that right foot. All he does is take about a 91-foot slide. But you can't go out of to the right or to the left. If you go out too far and away from the length of your body, they'll call you out. They'll call it a double play. They have put that rule in effect to protect the shortstop or the second baseman. Especially second baseman can really get whacked if he gets from the blind side, if you can run all over that base path out there.
Omar Marino at the plate, 1-0 with 2 down, and Bibby at first base. Ball 2, 2-0 the count.
Still in the 4th inning, Al, and the Bucks, there you see it, have 10 hits, but only 4 runs in 3 2/3 innings.
That second inning still might loom to be a very, very big inning.
They gave away 2 outs themselves.
2-0 pitch is bounced toward the middle, fielded by Garcia. Makes the unassisted force, and the 4th inning is over. No runs, a hit, leave 1 into 4. Still 4-3 Pittsburgh. 5th inning, it's 4-3 Pirates. Lee May will pinch hit to lead things off. As you look at the schedule tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, if necessary, back to Baltimore on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. 5th inning, and with more play-by-play, Don Drysdale.
All right, Al, it will be Lee May. Then we go to the top of the order, and Kiko Garcia in that order. Bibby already through 4 innings has thrown 75 pitches. He's got his exercise in for the afternoon, to say the least. May on the year hit .254, 19 home runs, 69 RBIs. Veteran right-hand hitter. Good breaking pitch.
Lee May has hit Bibby 409. You see it right there. 9 for 22. I don't care how many pitches Bibby has thrown, Don. His history is he gets stronger.
Another swing and a miss at a breaking pitch. 0-2.
Your history is you come on and the teams get runs.
That's why I'm up here. 2 strikes to Lee May. Backs him off the plate. May, the designated hitter for the Baltimore Orioles, who, as Al said before, are not using the designated hitter this year. The odd years they do not use it. And May has had to sit and watch. 2-2 the count.
That's Lee's wife.
See the breeze blowing in the stands, swirling around here at Three Rivers Stadium.
Clouds have broken again, so we've got the sun.
And he takes the count 3-2 after jumping out 0-2. Don Robinson throwing in the bullpen for the Pirates. Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore 3. We're in the top of the 5th. Got him on a good fastball. Strikeout number 7 for Bibby.
Jim throwing hard at the outset. He was clocked in the mid-90s in the first inning and still throwing hard. And Lee May, a pretty good fastball hitter, gets blown away on a fastball that was just timed at 95.
Now here's Al Bunbury, 1 for 2 this afternoon. He bounced to second and he singled and scored in the 3rd.
Tough ball game in the pattern. First 2 games, 1-run games. Yesterday, Birds by 4. This, 1-run game.
Bunbury, as we've stated, in the same category as Omar Moreno, the type of man who's a catalyst on this club. You get him on base and then look out. 1-1 the count.
Bunbury extended his consecutive game hitting streak on artificial turf today. It's up to 20 now.
Al wants to take a look at that ball, and Terry Tata, the home plate umpire, takes a peek at it and throws it out. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And the man at bat wearing number 1, Al Bunbury. The Pirates certainly aware that Bunbury will bunt. Stargell and Madlock both playing shallow. Madlock inside the bag at 3rd. Stargell even with a bag at 1st. Madlock down the left field line. Johnny Milner right there. And now look at the breeze pickup.
It really did. It gave Milner all kinds of trouble as suddenly he was backpedaling in the manner of a linebacker.
Now there's 2 gone, and we go to Kiko Garcia. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Here's Garcia. A key double in the 3rd to drive in 2. He struck out his first time at bat, 1 for 2. 1-0 the count. Got to believe that Chuck Tanner has realized that Bibby has thrown a lot of pitches. He's struggled. He's been in some jams, but he's managed to pitch out of it. Hit well to center field. Moreno giving ground, but has the play, and that is out number 3. So Baltimore has gone 1-2-3 in the 5th, and after 4.5, it remains 4-3 Pittsburgh. Stone has a fastball that'll run on you as you look at Tim Foley, who will lead it off for Pittsburgh in the 5th inning. It'll be Foley, Parker, and Stargell, the first 3 to face Stone. Tim is 2 for 2 this afternoon. Both infield singles.
This game is still tied because of a brilliant play by Matlock on a grounded deep behind 3rd that looked like a down-the-line double for DeCinces. Matlock converted it into an out.
Stone, the fastball that will tail on you, and he's got the curveball.
So a subsequent single by Renicky went for naught. This has been in the pattern of this series, this game.
2 balls and no strikes to Foley. Here's the guy you want to keep off base. You see Skaggs looking over to the right, just reminding himself who's in the on-deck circle. You can't miss him because he's a big one. Dave Parker. There's Dave. Hear the chant in the background. Foley, Foley, Foley. There you see the fastball. It'll tail back a little bit. And good pitch. Caught that outside corner. 2-1 the count. 4-3 Pittsburgh, bottom of the 5th. Foley's Fiends.
This is a bad time to put Mr. Foley on.
Good pitch. And Foley takes the count 3-2. You see Timmy taking all the way. He's looking for one thing, and that's to be a base runner when he got the 3-ball count. And he walks
He
it.
did it.
Foley's aboard. Parker's a hitter. And prior to the game, Howard had a chance to talk today.
You see a team more confident than this team that you're a part of?
I tell you, it's been that way ever since I've been in the Pirate organization. But we're so, deep in talent that it's just unreal. This is the best club I've ever been on. Of course, a positive attitude plays a big part in it, and also the fact that we look at each other as being brothers, more or less than just players or fellow teammates. We look at ourselves as being a part of each other. We're generally concerned with the other players' welfare, his family's welfare, and it's a family first, and then I think along with the family comes winning.
That's line to left, and Renicke's got to play it on a long hop. Foley stops at second base, and the Bucks have got something going here in the 5th.
And look who's coming up.
And the fans on their feet, waving their pom-poms, their yellow hankies, whatever they have, their pennants.
Just look at all of them, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about these two cities, the teams, what they've meant to the cities. We did that yesterday. The family, that's what the legend says on top of the Pirates dugout. And somehow or other, they're all family here in Three Rivers Stadium, as they have been all year long. And here are the Bucks on top by 1, threatening to get more.
As Stargell just leans away from the fastball, looking in. And we get action again in the Baltimore bullpen. Stargell 2 for 2, a home run and a double. They wheel but no throw. Nobody's at the bag. There's the bullpen. Stoddard the right-hander. Martinez the left-hander. Jammed him. And it'll be DeCinces to make the catch. They call the infield fly. Now there's one away. And it'll be Johnny Milner. And you look at it again.
We've seen this happen quite often in the series. The bat just shattering, breaking apart. And as Don mentioned, the infield fly rule in effect, even though it was a soft looper, the hand going up from Jerry Neudecker, the umpire at third, Stargell automatically out.
Didn't you think he was trying to hit inside out?
I think he was just trying to get some good wood on it. The way he took the swing, that's the way they approached the ball, Howard, and that's the way he got
Walker went inside out.
Yes, he did. Here's Milner. He has singled and scored in the second inning. He was walked intentionally in the third, and that was to load the bases, and Baltimore got out of it when Madlock it into a double play. 1 ball and no strikes to Johnny Milner. Foul out of play. 1-1 the count. Foley at second and Parker at first, and that's the story from Three Rivers Stadium here in Pittsburgh. And coming up next, that will be the story, Oklahoma and Texas. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Now they just want to get their sign straight and make sure they know exactly what's going on.
You know, you get absolutely no rest working against this Pittsburgh lineup. Sure, Milner isn't Stargell and he's not Barker, but he's a home run threat with 16 on the year. He can kill you. He has enormous power in those wrists. Remember, when he first came up, some thought he could be another Hammer and Henry Aaron. There'll not be another of those, not foreseeably.
The count goes to 2-1. The Pirates with 4 runs in the second inning, and Baltimore coming back with 3 of their own in the third, and that's where we stand. Hit hard, fair ball down the line. That'll score 1 and maybe 2.
That's what I mean about Milner.
Parker to third, he holds. Milner at second, and it's 5-3 Pittsburgh on the run-producing double by Johnny Milner.
Now let's look at that Milner swing. Yep, they used to call Johnny over at Shea the Hammer when he was with the Mets. He's a quiet man. Look at it again. Has a fine level swing with those wrists. Here comes Earl Weaver out. As you look at the remainder of that play, Weaver out to the mound. Steve Stone did it to himself when he led off the inning, walking Tim Foley.
Well, that was the thing that you could see Foley. That's all he was trying to do was get on. Weaver out with runners at second and third. Parker going to third. Dave limping just a little bit. We've mentioned before he's had that bad knee. Weaver has made no move as yet to what he wants to do. The hitter will be Madlock, and then you've got Ott hitting in behind him. It appears, see Weaver holding up those 2 fingers like that. They're liable to walk Bill Madlock. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe not. 1 out. Earl did it before and got out of it.
If he walks Matlock, then it will be to bring Tippy Martinez in from the bullpen where he's been working the pitch to add up. And then Tanner will immediately repost. He's got the likes of Lee Lacy on the bench.
And they're going to pitch to Madlock because they got the right side of the infield in. You've got Kiko Garcia about halfway. DeCinces, the third baseman, in his normal position. Now Garcia comes up a step or so at short. Breaking pitch misses. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Well, the Pirates right here with a chance to blow it open in the 5th inning. They lead it 5-3. Parker at third, Milner at second. 2-0.
Isn't it ironic that 2 former Mets are now such important parts of this Pirate machine? Milner and Foley. Singleton too with the Birds. Makes you wonder what they're doing in New York.
3 balls and no strikes.
Little chilly, Earl. Not just in the dugout.
There's that heat pack. Now they will walk him. They won't even give him a chance to hit 3-0.
And here comes, I'm sure, Martinez.
Earl Weaver, the 2 fingers, and they will play for the double play.
Nope. He'll fool you every time.
Well, I saw before when he held those 2 fingers up, I had an idea that that's what he had in the back of his mind. They were going to maybe try just to pitch Madlock carefully. Well, they just decided to put him on. Here's Ott, 1 for 2, a long double. Good breaking pitch. 0-1. Ott with his double, he drove in 2.
Baby face, Steve Stone.
Backhanded by Skaggs. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. That's Parker at third. Milner at second. Madlock at first. The bases full of Bucks. Two and 0. Well, these Buck fans come alive.
Base hit can blow this thing wide open.
To left field, slicing down the line. It'll be just out of the reach of Renicky. Parker was tagging. Looked like the wind tried to help that ball come back a little bit.
You just had a glimpse of Frank Robinson, the man who won the MVP in both major leagues, the man who's done so much for the Birds outfield play this year and proved it unbelievable.
2-2 the count to Ott. Foul, and that goes into the Pirate dugout. There you see that sign, the family, on top of the Pittsburgh dugout. We referred to that before. That's what they call themselves. Infield double play depth. 5-3 Pittsburgh, bottom of the 5th. Now time is called by the second base umpire, Paul Runge. And we're ready to go again. To left field, Renicky's got a good arm. Parker tagging. He bluffs coming, and Renicky guns it to DeCinces, and Parker, with good judgment, stays at third.
And here is the kid who is 7 for 12 in this World Series, the leading hitter, Phil Garner.
Garner 2 for 2 this afternoon, and he scored a run. That was in the second inning. The bases remain loaded, but now there's 2 outs. The Orioles 1 out from getting out of a tough jam here in the 5th inning. They've given up a run. The Pirates lead at 5-3.
Oh, do these two teams battle?
Boy, they do. One and oh. Steve Stone usually has very good command.
Garner's game.
Garner's hitting in this series is .583. 2-0. There's no place to put him.
It was the inning opening walk to Foley. Repeat that really touched off A, the run already scored, and B, the potential big inning.
There's the strike, and the count goes to 2-1. Infield, outfield, straight away for Garner.
Remember, Drysdale gets your runs.
Hard to Garcia. He goes the short way. They get the force, and the side is retired. But the Bucks pick up a run and lead 5-3, and we'll be back with more baseball after this word from our local stations. So Kenny Singleton will lead it off for Baltimore in the 6th inning. Howard had a chance to talk with Ken Pryor, and let's listen to their conversation.
What gives you the edge, your team?
I think it's going to boil down to the teams are very evenly matched. I will say this. I think that maybe overall we have more of a power hitting team than the Pirates. I think
more than Parker, more than Stargell, more than Milner, more than Bill Robinson, more than even little Garner. And how about Matlock? You've got more power than that?
I think we do. I think we've hit 181 home runs this year in a relatively tough ballpark to hit home runs in. Baltimore is not the easiest park to hit homers in. We do have, basically Pirates' power is left-handed, and if you go with Stargell and Parker, 2 of their greater home run hitters, and we can compensate with that. We go with Flanagan and McGregor, 2 fine left-handers.
The words of Kenny Singleton as he leads off the 6th inning for Baltimore. It'll be Singleton, Murray, DeCinces to face Bibby, who has been on that bench. This last inning for Pittsburgh was 17 minutes. Now, the last time that happened, he had a long inning when they scored 4 in the 2nd inning. Baltimore came back and scored 3. Bibby has thrown 88 pitches thus far.
Kenny Singleton's lady.
Singleton this afternoon has struck out, doubled, and has driven in a run. Bounces in the dirt. That got a piece of Ott, and you know that doesn't feel good on a day like today.
Well, if the Birds have the power that Kenny says, the time has come, the Walrus said, to begin to show it.
Now they're down by 2. It's 5-3 Pittsburgh. We're in the top of the 6th. Pittsburgh 5 runs on 12 hits. Baltimore 3 runs on but 4 hits. Up the alley in right center, Moreno over to cut it off. So Singleton picks up his second hit of the afternoon. A leadoff single here in the 6th inning. And that will bring on Eddie Murray. Singleton 35 home runs on the year. Murray 25.
First baseman
Kenny is
Eddie
now
Murray.
6 for 15 in the series. Murray fanned twice. Came into the series 4 for 9. He's now 4 for 11. This is another guy who can kill you.
Murray this afternoon, he's had a little rough afternoon. He struck out twice. Oh, 0-1 to Murray.
This is Earl Weaver. Must have been a great year for her, too.
Oh, listen, any time that the husbands win, the wives have a ball, believe me. Just foul. Now Singleton will come back. They count 1-2 to Murray. Stargell is playing just in front of Singleton at first base. He's not holding him on. He's trying to cheat just a little bit if he can and try and move off there so he can try and maybe defense that hole just a little bit on that right side. You'll watch the positioning of Stargell at first. Not really holding him on, but just close enough to where Singleton can get a real big lead. Garner, he goes to Foley for 1. To Stargell, the double play.
Eddie Murray started the series with a bang, but all of a sudden he has struck out twice today. And after Singleton with a leadoff single here in the 6th inning, hits a tailor-made double play down to Garner. Over to Foley and back to Stargell. The second double play pulled off by the Bucks today. So Murray, after the hot start, is now 4 for 12.
That's true. And Bibby is holding together. And remember, his history is he gets past the 5th inning. Tough, tough, and tougher. Now he's got a 2-run edge. Bucks getting an insurance run last inning. Again, the Bucks failing to capitalize. Bases filled and 1 out. They failed to score after that.
You watch Bibby rev up that ball the size of those hands. I tell you, he can loosen that cover a little bit if he wants to. This is DeCinces.
Whose hands are those?
There
Kenticle. Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. You met him yesterday up close and personal.
It is chilly down on that field. As we look, I'm looking down at that umpire down the left field line. That is Bob Engel. And that's what's coming up immediately following today's game. Oklahoma, ranked number 3 in the nation, faced by Heisman Trophy winner Billy Sims, against Texas, ranked number 4 in the nation and number 1 ranked team in total defense. That ought to be quite a game. Pete Jackson will be bringing you all that action. Two and 0 the count. We talked about the American League umpires with their red gloves, and just checking around, the men in blue from the National League, they've got their gloves on too. 3 and 0. Three balls, no strikes, 2 outs, 5-3 Pittsburgh. We're in the top of the 6th.
This will be Bibby's 99th pitch of the game.
And he walks him with it.
Regardless of his reputation for hanging tough in the late innings, the number of pitches he has already thrown, it would seem, have to take their toll on the arm.
Well, the big thing about it, it's a little peculiar. That's only his 2nd walk. He's just thrown a lot of pitches this afternoon. That's all.
You want a figure that's astonishing? Scott McGregor, as there's a little huddle on the mound, Scott McGregor yesterday threw 96 pitches. 78 of them were strikes.
Well, he doesn't fool around. You look at him and Flanagan, and that's one thing about Baltimore. They go right after you. They don't waste a lot of time. During the course of the season, now here in this series, we've seen a little wildness of Steve Stone, and that could be just his first World Series game jitter. But they go right after you. Here's Renicky. Action again in the Pirate bullpen. Don Robinson, that's the 3rd time that he's been up and throwing.
He's worked almost as many innings as Bibby.
All of a sudden, Baltimore has the tying run at the plate in Renicky, who has struck out and then hit a shot to 3rd that Madlock made a great play on. 0-2 the count.
No, Don, it was DeCinces who hit that shot. Renicky followed with a single that would have scored him.
Well, I'm not too sure looking at
wait a second. No, I think you're right.
Okay, there's a strike over the outside corner. Last pitch to Renicky. Loop foul right side.
It was Dower who got the single.
Rich Dower singled right after that. At that time, that would have possibly tied the game at 4. But that did not happen because Madlock made a great play, and Pittsburgh has just scored another run, and they lead at 5-3. A ball and 2 strikes. Garner deep at second base. As you can see, the defensive alignment for the Pittsburgh Pirates, they play Renicky to pull. Foley deep to the hole and short. There's Timmy. Ball too high. 2-2. 2 outs. At first base, DeCinces. Kind of clouding over a little more. You can kind of feel that temperature starting to dip a little bit more too. And the clouds, it's like they've kind of shifted a little bit. What has passed us looks like it might be ganging up and coming back at us. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Now those snow clouds are coming in.
We're going to get you on the luge yet. You never thought it would be during the World Series, did you?
We're gonna bring Art Devlin in for the commentary tomorrow.
The coat or a piece of plastic or something that Dave Parker will flip over to Stan the Man. Unusual. Don Stanhouse down in that Baltimore bullpen down the right field line. 2-2 to Renicky. Bibby trying to get out of the Baltimore 6. Fans, they get up. They're looking for the strikeout. Right field, playable. Parker started back and now comes on. And that is out number 3. So Baltimore gone in the 6th inning, and after 5.5, it remains 5-3 Pittsburgh. Here's Jim Bibby to lead off the Pittsburgh 6th. Looks at a curveball for a strike. Jim tried to duck under that. 0-2.
At Yale, the cheerleaders dance to Lindy on the sidelines. Makes you feel like you belong.
Got him looking. Now Bibby strikes out as you take another look at it.
Stone had his problems in the 5th inning, gave up a run, but then worked out of further trouble. Takes care of Bibby here in what will be his final inning of work as you look at Jim Palmer, the starting pitcher in game 2, and
he'll be back.
The starter in game 6.
He will be back, that young man. He told me today, I really feel great now. My arm is back.
Well, the young man sitting next to him was the winner opening night, Mike Flanagan, and he'll go tomorrow. Here's Omar Moreno. 1 for 3 this afternoon. One ball and no strikes. He's bounced to short, single, and hit into a fielder's choice.
Mrs. Moreno can go back to blowing a whistle. Omar's back.
2 balls and no strikes.
The other night, she peppered the stands.
I just heard a whistle. 2-1 the count.
Nothing like the Winter Olympics, folks. As the world comes to America.
That's bounced foul right in front of the commissioner. To talk to him, he said he had better hands than that. He was heading for cover.
Oh, that's Happy Chandler with him and Mrs. Louisa Kuhn.
There's a young Buck fan.
That's cute.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Moreno. 1 out in the Pittsburgh 6th inning. The Bucks lead at 5-3. We are in game number 4, and the Bucks trying to even it at 2. Had him fooled on the curveball, but just a little high. Full count to Moreno, 3-2. That's hit foul. Come on now.
I never thought I'd see that again. And that outfit he's wearing, I never thought I'd see that again. That's unbelievable.
Foul back.
Well, he went after ball 4 there. He's back with it. It looks like George Scott saying a roll. Let's do it every other play.
Now you got to be tired when that can happen. 50,000 people in the stand. I'll say one thing. Our guys can pick up some shots. Three balls, 2 strikes to Moreno. On the hands to Dower. To Murray. And there's 2 gone.
Here's the young man who provided the insurance run, Tim Foley. Led off the 5th inning with a walk against Steve Stone. That was Steve's undoing.
Now there's 2 gone. Foley, the hitter, 2 for 2 this afternoon. As Howard said, he walked his last time at bat and scored. Tim up on that bat handle as usual.
This is Tim Foley.
One ball, no strikes to Foley.
I'm looking for the man with the cigar.
2 balls and no strikes. I have a feeling that we will see that picture again. I don't believe that will be lost anywhere.
Takes me back to a time in the Houston Astrodome when the Raiders were killing the Orioles.
There's the strike in the count, 2-1. Line to right, and Foley's 3 for 3. Now Tim Foley's bat comes to life here this afternoon. His 3rd base hit as he stands at first base. And that brings on Dave Parker with 2 outs. And the Bucks leading 5-3.
Fielder Dave Parker.
Parker is hit into a double play. He's flying to center, and his last time at bat, he singled. That was also against Steve Stone. DeCinces, look where he's playing at 3rd. He's out on that imaginary line and way off the line at 3rd.
Before this series is over, this big guy got to hit 1 out. It just seems inevitable.
That line, kind of the line that would be from the, you're playing on grass and dirt. It would be where the outfield grass meets the skin part of the infield. That's how deep the DeCinces is playing. 2 balls and no strikes.
Tippy Martinez at work again in the bullpen. I figure Tippy will be in.
Now the pitcher's the 3rd hitter.
Yep. Pinch hitter due. Weaver is saved. Kelly and Crowley.
He's used May.
Right.
Ball 3-0. And Grant Jackson up and throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. That's Foley at first.
Shows you the way Tanner's thinking ahead. He knows that Weaver has saved his left-handed pinch hitters.
Well, he's got Kelly, he's got Lowenstein.
But Lowenstein has not really hit well since he injured his ankle.
He green lighted him 3-0, and he went after ball 4.
He really did. Went after a low inside pitch.
That almost got him on the knee. Now the count 3-1. Hooking foul down the line, and it will be back into the seats as Dower, Murray, and Singleton all go over to take a peek. Now with a full count to Parker, 3 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. Foley will be off and running at first base. Hear that music in the background, and they call Parker the Cobra. Earl Weaver peeking around the corner. Sky's getting darker. Runner goes left field, shallow. Renicky and Garcia, and it's going to drop, and it goes by Renicky. Here comes Foley on the double by Parker. It is 6-3 Pittsburgh.
Again, yet another fielding lapse, and this one instrumental here as Parker with a big swing. Renicky was playing relatively deep. He came loping in initially as if he thought maybe Garcia had a chance, and Kiko had none whatsoever. And then Renicky, once he does get there, tries to short hop it. The ball bouncing high off the tartan turf, and that cost Baltimore a run.
And good hustle by Foley, who was running on the 3-2 pitch. He scores all the way from first base as Stargell stands in.
In the meantime, Pittsburgh is in the process of icing this ball game.
That's their 14th hit of the afternoon, but they've got 6 runs to show for it. That's one of the tough plays right there. The big swing. Renicky was playing very deep. But when you get up on top of that ball, that's fouled away. 0-2 the count.
Got to play very deep in all parts of the ballpark on Dave Parker.
And the big thing, when that ball bounces.
There's the whistle and Mrs. Marino.
To the count. You get that ball bouncing like that, and if you get on it too close or just really not on it at all, that's what'll happen. It'll bounce away from you.
Well, it's 3:30 now, and under other circumstances, we'd be coming on the air with Texas, Oklahoma. But we're in the 6th inning of Game 4 of the World Series. And thus, those of you who are expecting to see that game, you will immediately following this World Series game. However, you may not miss anything at all because the game itself is not really scheduled to start until shortly after 4 o'clock.
And the count to Willie Stargell, 2-2. 2 outs, Parker at second base, another run in for Pittsburgh. They lead at 6-3. We're in the bottom of the 6th.
We have had some long ball games.
Well, they have been long. Tim Stoddard gets up to join Tippy Martinez down in the Baltimore bullpen. Got him. Now Pittsburgh is gone in the 6th inning, but they pick up a run on 2 hits. As you look at this pitch again, good sinker, and through 6, it is 6-3 Pittsburgh. That's the story from Three River Stadium here in Pittsburgh. I'm Don Drysdale with Al Michaels and Howard Cosell. Pittsburgh on top by a score of 6-3. 6 runs on 14 hits and an error through 6. And Baltimore 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors as we get ready to go to the 7th. And once again for the play, here's Al.
All right, Don, the bottom of the order for Baltimore. That's Dower, Skaggs, and a pinch hitter for Stone coming up. The Pirates broke out on top in the 2nd inning with 4. The Orioles picked up 3 in the 3rd. And then the Pirates have added single runs in the 5th and in the 6th as they try to even the series. Dower has popped out and singled to left. 1 for 2. Fly ball to right center field. Marino waves Parker off. And there's 1 gone.
There are continuing nuances in a series like this, where the teams ride an elevator exchanging victories, but very clearly certain things do emerge. The artificial turf did not help Baltimore on that play by Renicky, because if Renicky were familiar with artificial turf, he could have anticipated that errant bounce that led to the 6th Pirate run.
Dave Skaggs, 1-0 the count. Stone due up next, and Pat Kelly has come out into the on-deck circle for the Orioles.
I believe on that last pitch, I don't know if we have it, that's Pat. I believe that ball just missed Ott's glove completely and just hit Jerry Tater right in the shin guard. One and one the count.
He is still throwing with excellent velocity.
Chuck Tanner. His club trying to even it up. The 1-1 pitch. 0 and outside. 2-1 the count on Skaggs.
That last pitch, as you talked about the velocity, they clocked it at 92 miles an hour, so the big guy's still humming.
away in the count of 2-2. In the bullpen for the Pirates, the right-hander is Don Robinson, and the lefty is Grant Jackson, as Bibby has thrown 111 pitches in 6 1/3 innings. Three and two.
Yeah, it'll just give you an example of how strong Jim Bibby really is. Throwing now 112 pitches. He's been in some jams, and he's still humping it up there at 92 or 93 plus.
Well, he hasn't been in jams recently, and that's the key. He gets stronger once past that 5th inning, as I have stated.
Hit to the hole by Madlock for a base hit. Skaggs has his first hit of the day. And that's hit number 6 off Bibby. So now Pat Kelly will come up with Skaggs at first base and 1 down. Kelly, the second pinch hitter utilized by Weaver today. Lee May came up in the 5th inning and struck out.
Now, this is exactly why Earl saved his left-handed pinch hitters. Using Kelly now, and he's got Crowley. He's also got Lowenstein if he wants to try him despite the sore ankle.
Weaver.
Now there's a lineup card. They'll just put it up there. That shows you the Baltimore lineup. And they'll just make the changes on the lineup as the game goes along.
Kelly fouls it away. Pat, as a pinch hitter this season, was 11 for 24. And hit 3 pinch home runs. One of them a grand slam off Dave Haverlow.
He hit one a ton in the playoffs against the Angels, too. That just kind of put the icing on the cake.
That did. Blew game 4 open, and the Orioles went on to win it 8-0 back of McGregor. 1-1.
Well, we talked about Jim Bibby and his brother Henry, Pat Kelly and his brother Leroy. What a football player he was.
Cleveland Browns. 1-2.
Morgan State. Number 44. Now it's baseball and Jim Bibby.
I'm trying to see if any of that perspiration is still dropping off of that bill of that cap.
Half swing, little bouncer to the right side. Stargell looked at second, then goes back, and no, he was not on the bag. They call him safe as they contend Garner was not on the bag. Jim McKee made the call, and Chuck Tanner is right there.
Well, Garner thought he caught the outside part of the bag, and McKeon said, nope, you stood right here, you missed it. You got to be careful when you're Tanner, because you get that chew of tobacco over there in your cheek, and all of a sudden you get out there arguing, it becomes dislodged. Boy, you can. Let's take another look at it. He might have slid off.
He didn't appear to touch it, but really the angle in this case isn't that good. But it doesn't matter. The decision's made. And suddenly, let's isolate on Willie on the play.
Willie wants to go to second base, I think, Howard.
Now that's what cost Willie, right there. Taking that time to look at second, deciding against it. Now, from that angle, it makes it look like he was outside the base. But
meanwhile, Tanner has gone from first base to the mound, and Bibby will be coming out here in the 7th. 6-3 Pirates.
he took him out.
The new Pirate pitcher, number 23, Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson.
You still can't tell, fellas. They didn't exactly shell Bibby, I'll tell you. Skaggs with a seeing eye single, and Kelly with that garbage.
Well, Grant Jackson brought in conceivably to pitch to just one man. That would be Bunbury, who is up right now. Bunbury, a left-handed batter, and in the bullpen, the Pirates with two right-handers, Don Robinson and Kent Colby, are both throwing. So if Jackson takes care of Bunbury, we very well might see Tanner bring in Colby.
That's true. Now, they didn't exactly shell Jim Bibby. Skaggs got a seeing eye single. Bibby had been getting progressively stronger. And then there was that garbage half swing hit by Kelly.
But he'll take it.
Oh, sure.
So the tying run is at the plate. Bunbury is 1 for 3. Outside, ball 1.
Oh, how they fight one another.
Skaggs off to his lead at second, and Kelly at first. One away in the 7th inning. High, ball 2. It's 2-0 on Bunbury. On deck, the right-hand batting Kiko Garcia.
He's already doubled in 2 runs today, little Kiko.
And it's 3-0.
This was not what Chuck Tanner was looking at. Chuck Tanner. Yes, Chuck Tanner.
The 3-0 pitch, Bunbury taken all the way, and it's 3-1. Got the corner, 3-2.
All right. That's what Chuck Tanner was looking for.
That was a tough 3-1 pitch.
The 3-2 to Bunbury. Bouncing ball hit down to Foley to Garner 1. Back to first. They double him. No runs, 2 hits. Man left. Jackson does the job. In the middle of the 7th, it remains 6-3 Pittsburgh.
Now let's take a look at that double play that ended that little uprising by Baltimore. Foley to Garner. Now the return throw to Stargell. Very close at first base. Jimmy Fry, the first base coach, he kind of jumped up in the air on that call. As you look at the new Baltimore pitcher, Big Tim Stoddard.
Now you look at this, you'll see Willie cheated just a little bit, which is the mark of the good first baseman.
Close play, and Jim McKeon right there to make the call.
Here is the huge one, Stoddard.
They go from the 5'10" Steve Stone to the 6'7" Tim Stoddard. Former basketball player at North Carolina State. Teammate of David Thompson there as the Wolfpack won an NCAA championship. And coming up, of course, immediately following this one, Oklahoma and Texas. The game has not yet started. Still pre-game festivities, so you do not figure to miss much, if any, of it. Oklahoma and Texas. John Milner.
It's Marion Milner. And there's husband John. And as you look back on this ball game, this guy got as big a hit as there was. A double down the right field foul line with 2 on. And he built up the 5th run. Brought it in with that hit. for the Bucks. That put him not 1 run ahead of the Birds, but 2.
Gave him a little breathing room as the count goes to 0-2. Milner, Madlock, and Ott. Stoddard signed by the White Sox, released by Chicago, picked up by Baltimore. Spent some time on the disabled list this year as Milner hits a fly ball to shallow left. Garcia goes out, and Kiko will put this one away. So 1 down here in the 7th inning, and up comes Madlock.
This has been a long ball game. It's been a ball game of squandered opportunity after squandered opportunity by both sides. Correct, Twin D?
Yes, sir. I would have to say that. It's been kind of a funny series in a way. You came into.
That is not Bob Uecker.
How do you know?
That was Bob Uecker with a cigar.
2-0 the count on Madlock.
You know, we've had lousy weather, to say the least, and you look at these 2 ball clubs and they've executed well throughout the course of the year, and we've seen some shoddy play throughout the course of this, but you've got to attribute that to, really, I would say 99 9/10% of that to the bad weather that we've had. But it's been bad weather for both sides.
Temperature at the start of the game in the upper 40s, but it was a lot warmer because the sun was shining brightly.
Hi, Guy.
2-1.
Temperature now feels like it's about 28.
3-1 the count. You know, you talk about the good play Madlock made before, the instrumental play at third. It's interesting because at one point a couple of years ago, the Giants thought he couldn't play third anymore, moved him over to second. Then when the deal was made with Pittsburgh, they put him back. Ball 4.
And it was a big deal for Pittsburgh because that took Garner off at third and put him at second.
That's exactly right. They knew they needed help because in the infield, Rennie Stennett, and it's really a tragic case because he was one of the finest second basemen in all of baseball. A couple of years ago, broke his ankle. Hasn't played up to his ability since because of the injury. They needed help. They moved Garner over to second, put Madlock at third.
That's Mrs. Eddie Ott.
Oh, 1.
95 miles an hour. We've talked about his size. We've talked about basketball. We've touched on the great team of which he was part, the team with Tom Burleson and David Thompson and this man, Stoddard.
And as I said before, a few years ago, released and picked up by Baltimore. And all of a sudden, he finds himself in the World Series.
Stoddard, the 4th pitcher used by Weaver today.
You know, when he was released, you just knew that he was tickled pink. He told Baltimore, he says, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll go anywhere you want me to go. He's thankful for the chance to play.
They send Madlock as Ott fouls it away, and the count is 0-2. One away. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Pirates on top 6-3. The Bucks with 14 hits. Foley leading the hit parade with 3.
It's a cute girl, Mrs. Ott.
Sure is. I've been watching Bob Engel down the left field line. He is freezing out there. He is absolutely freezing.
What's so? Look at that.
You think he isn't cold?
Hit down the line, curling foul out of play. It stays 0-2. They send Matlock. The pitch is inside. Skaggs' throw is a beauty.
It really was. I tell you, he threw that ball like Dempsey.
He got rid of it great. This pitch up and in. Out a little swing. Now he gets it up in the webbing, and there's a chance where you can't reach in and get it cleanly, but he's got it right on the money, and a good tag by Garcia.
So 2 down with the bases empty. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Ott.
It was right to send him, though.
Bouncer foul. Well, Tanner, since coming over to Pittsburgh, the Pirates, remember, they were a tough club that relied solely on power. As you look at some others, Alabama routing
Look at
Florida.
that. Well, I guess the Big Bear's too old to coach. Look at Nebraska at halftime. And the Buckeyes giving it to the Hoosiers 40-6.
And of course, following this one, we'll go right down to the Cotton Bowl in Big D for Oklahoma, Texas. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count.
Look
Hit
out.
back off Stoddard, and it rolls right down to Murray, who's going to make the play.
That looks like one of those. That looked like one of those Steve Miserak pool shots. I'm just plain showing off.
I guarantee you that hurt. You could hear that crack all the way up here. Got him in the shin. Look at that. Right to Murray.
End of 7. It's still 6-3. Pittsburgh will be back in Pittsburgh after this word from our local stations. 2 switches for the Pirates. Bill Robinson goes in for defensive purposes, replacing John Milner in left field, and Don Robinson comes in to pitch. So Grant Jackson was called out of the bullpen to face 1 man. Al Bunbury did the job, got Bunbury to hit into a double play to end the top of the 7th inning, and now they put it in the hands of Don Robinson, who appeared in games 1 and 2. Had last night off and back in here to try to pick up the save. Here's the lineup tonight on ABC.
And what a lineup it is, my friend. First 2 hilarious new comedy hits, The Ropers and Detective School. Following, it's an all-star love boat. Then Bob Wagner and Stephanie Powers in a great new adventure series, Heart to Heart. All tonight, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. ABC still the one.
Too bad you're going to miss it, though, because I am going to take you to that hockey game tonight.
That will be the day.
8th inning at 6-3 Pittsburgh.
See, they're right with us.
Kiko Garcia. Scout Charlie Walgren's got to be a proud man, just retired after last night's performance. He was the man who signed Garcia. Looks at a strike.
Didn't they also sign the Angels manager, Jimmy Fregosi?
Yeah.
Specializes in shortstops. Johnny Robinson.
Oh, 2 the count.
Well, you mentioned yesterday Kiko up there from the Bay Area. That's where Jimmy Fregosi's from.
Garcia, born in Martinez, California, living in Walnut Creek.
Jimmy would never have made it without Bobby Cannot.
Well, he's got to go high on that list for Manager of the Year in the American League, the job that he did.
Garcia with a check swing foul. A lot of guys could win that award this year. You got to look at Gene Mock.
That's right. Gene Mock, Jim Fregosi, the man we've been talking about here for the last 4 days.
Absolutely.
Earl Weaver.
And Chuck Tanner.
Chuck Tanner, that's the National League.
And Dick Williams.
Yeah, what a job he did. Billy Verdon.
That's right.
Johnny McNamara.
Sure.
Right.
1-2 pitch is fouled away by Garcia.
Johnny came by earlier.
Looks good.
Yeah, he's at peace with himself. Had a good year.
I think that's maybe going to be one of the tougher jobs that committee has to do this year, is pick the Manager of the Year for the 2 leagues.
It's no guarantee that you'll have the job, though, the next season. Look at Joe Altobelli.
That's right.
1-2 pitch, loop to shallow right field. Parker got a late start, then has to short hop, and it's a base hit for Garcia.
Dave did misjudge it.
It appeared that he might have lost it for a moment.
Well, maybe this replay will show you how Dave
took the big swing, hit it out on the end of the bat. Parker still has not started to come in, now coming in, and then just has to short hop.
The point is, he went back.
He did. It fooled him. You see Garner pointing there, Parker hesitates. And that's what a good infielder will do. An infielder go back, and the first thing they'll do, they'll be pointing in the air and helping that outfielder out.
Ken Singleton at the plate. 1-0.
I can hear that whistle sitting up here in the booth, and we've talked that Pee Wee Reese has been around, and Pee Wee, of course, with that whistle, after you've heard it for a few years, you know what it is, but a ball would go up, and right away Pee Wee would whistle. That would be his sign to the outfielders. When you heard him whistle and pointing that finger in the air, you knew, come on in.
Garcia now 6 out of 9 on the series.
A strike. This program, an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
That last pitch was a beauty. A fastball that tailed off. 91 miles an hour. Lights are now lit, and there he is. What an unlikely looking figure for the great pitcher he is.
2-1 the count.
Well, they've turned the lights on here at Free River Stadium as it is clouded up, getting darker and colder by the moment.
Well, there were 4. You're talking about managers in the brevity of glory. There were 4 divisional winners last year, fellas. Lemon, Herzog, Ozark, and Lasorda. Only one remains, Lasorda.
2-1 pitch is hit off the glove of Foley and out into left field. And stopping at second, Garcia.
So the Birds don't give up. Watch this.
Great effort.
Replay.
Great effort by Tim Foley. Timmy making the dive, just got a glove on the ball, but I don't know if he could have made a play on it if he'd have come up with it anyway.
If ever a guy is due, it's Eddie Murray. So suddenly Robinson's in trouble. Not totally his fault. Parker going back on a ball he should have come in for.
So the Pirates, who've already pulled off 3 double plays, in need of another one here. Murray has struck out twice and hit into one of the double plays. So Eddie, after a hot start in the series, is now 4 for 12. 2 on, nobody out. 8th inning, 6-3 Pittsburgh. A strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Oh boy, what a beauty.
Well, if you're looking for a pitch that you want to pull and drive, that's a tough one right there. Unless
Tailed off again. But this club, they hack at you, they hawk you, you count them out, and they don't count themselves out.
The 0-1 pitch is low, and the Steeler chant of defense goes up to Colby. As the game reaches the 3-hour mark, par for the course. The 1-1 pitch.
Oh,
Good
What
pitch.
a beauty. Oh, did that fall down? Oh,
what a breaking pitch.
fell off. In tight.
Look at this again. This is just a mismatch on this one pitch and this swing.
Not going to hit that ball.
1-2, DeCinces on deck. Murray shatters the bat. The ball bounced down to Foley to Garner for 1. He goes back to third. No play there. So runners at first and third, one out, and the meat part of the bat winds up in the stands back of first base. Oklahoma number 3, Texas number 4. Coming up when we go into Dallas right after this one. But it's 6-3, the Pirates on top. Runners at first and third and one down.
Boy, that bat really did splinter. It went over just over the commissioner's box, and
Third baseman, Doug DeCinces.
so nobody got hurt seriously.
Sensei started the series with a 2-run home run. Has had nothing since. Has not hit the ball well except for one time when he shot one to deep right center. Off Robinson, by the way. A great catch by Parker.
1-0 the count. Doug has walked twice today and flied out.
He's a fastball hitter. That accounts for at least some of his success against Guidry. He's hit 4 home runs against Guidry, which takes him doing.
1-1.
Boy, that fastball really dove in on him.
94 miles per hour. Putting everything into it.
Fired infield, double play depth. Runners at first and third and one away. Murray held on by Stargell. Garcia, the runner at third. And the 1-1 pitch. Look out.
Well, and you're bringing it up there 90-some miles an hour. You better make your move fast, and that's exactly what DeCinces did right here. There was a little element of doubt, and he says, Pasadena, I'll see you later.
You want to get out doubly quick when it's 40 degrees, too.
That's yeah.
Mrs. Terry Bradshaw will be taking the ice immediately after the game.
JoJo. 2-1 the count. One out. Garcia, the runner at third. Eddie Murray on the force at first.
Wonder why they didn't fire Lasorda.
Two-one pitch is fouled back. 2-2.
He had a swing at that. He was just about on that one.
Can't fire Tommy. Get him out of the game lose half its color.
Two and two the count.
Well, the fans aren't rooting for a rally. They're rooting for a strikeout here.
And they almost get one. They appeal? No. Ball 3-2.
They do build up the tension, don't they?
The Orioles keep coming at you. They had a threat in the 7th inning. Rubbed out on a double play. Again, the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning. One out. DeCinces backing out after Robinson had shook off a couple of signs. The 3-2 pitch coming up. Ball 4 to load him up. So the bases are loaded with one out here in the 8th inning. And Gary Renicky is the batter. Chuck Tanner, he still has Colby in the bullpen, talking it over with Harvey Hannix, the pitching coach. Colby sneaking a peek over toward the dugout to see if Chuck had made any move.
Now Tanner is going to go get him.
Here he goes. Let's see if Weaver stays with Renicky.
He's made the motion. They'll go to the bullpen, and they'll go to Jacoby.
Weaver has Terry Crowley and John Lowenstein, left-handed batters.
So
right now, as we await the advent of Kent Tekulve, let's go down to Keith Jackson in Dallas and get the Oklahoma-Texas scene set.
Well, back here in Pittsburgh, you look at the man that Tanner wants in this situation, Kent Tekulve, coming in, 31 saves and 10 wins on the season. A lot of people love Kent Tekulve here.
And Mrs. Kent Tekulve, and I suspect we'll see Mr. John Lowenstein. In the meantime, I bitterly resent Jackson sitting down there comfortable, no sweaters, no overcoats.
Well, here comes Lowenstein with the bases loaded and 1 out. Pirates on top 6-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Tekulve, the 4th pitcher, employed by Tanner today.
Kent went to the well 94 times during the season. And of course, he will go to the well every day until the water runs dry.
Here's a tough job for a pinch hitter. You've been sitting in this cold, cold weather, and all of a sudden, here you are, 1 out in the 8th inning, and you're asked to come up and deliver.
0-1. Well, he did it in game 1, of course, of the playoffs in Baltimore, beating the Angels with an opposite field home run.
He did that.
But apart from that one hit, John has not been hitting much of anything at all. St. Palmer says it's the ankle.
The 0-1 pitch. Up and away. Bases loaded. Garcia at 3rd. Murray, the runner at 2nd. And DeCinces at 1st. 1 out in the 8th inning. 6-3 Pittsburgh.
Big hole on that right side because Willie Stargell has to guard the line.
Tekulve has faced 9 men in the series thus far and retired 9.
Kind of an unusual outfielder line. Well, really not unusual, except that Moreno is shading slightly to left center. Parker is playing Lowenstein like a pull hitter in right. You've got a big hole in the gap in right center. Madlock has to guard the line at 3rd. Well, you've got that Pittsburgh defense fairly fanned out.
The 2-1 pitch is fouled away. 2-2 on Lowenstein.
These two teams play a game. They get back to their respective quarters in a state of shock. Absolutely in shock. They give everything.
The 2-2 pitch is ripped by Stargell and into the corner. Garcia comes in to score. Parker has trouble with it. Murray comes in to score. They stop DeCinces at 3rd. It's a double, and it's 6-5.
How can you ask for more? It's another one-run ball game at this moment. And indeed, he hit this ball a ton. Watch this.
He crushed it. That ball got by Stargell in a hurry and down into that corner in a hurry, and now this isn't the problem. The problem right now, that ball just about got by Parker. Right there, a great barehanded save, or we've got a tie game.
Murray, you can see him, he wanted DeCinces to come in, but Cal Ripken stops him at 3rd. With 1 out in the inning, runners at 2nd and 3rd. And they go to the bench again. This time, instead of Dower, we're going to see Billy Smith. Billy Smith, the switch hitter, coming up to face Tekulve. Started games 1 and 2, 1 for 6 in those games.
For Baltimore, number 2, Billy Smith.
And so the double
Dower.
by
Billy
Lowenstein,
Smith.
the first man to reach base off to Colby in the World Series. It is 6-5. And they will walk Smith. They'll put him on with Skaggs due up next. And we'll see.
But there's a
if
fellow
Weaver
named
counters.
Crowley still there to be used.
That's right. Crowley was out in the on-deck circle, and I think right now Earl Weaver, he's got Smith in there. Of course, he'll stay in the game and play second base, hitting in Dower's spot. And you still have a man named Crowley, as you say, although it is Skaggs, it's coming out.
Well, this is where you got to give a man credit. Skaggs is coming out.
Dempsey trotting in from the bullpen, and all of a sudden he saw Skaggs in the on-deck circle. He stopped. Now he comes
There
on
he
through.
comes. It didn't make any sense.
And there is
And
Crowley.
this is what we talked about at the start of the ball game, gentlemen. Weaver saving these left-handed pinch hitters for the right moment, and it's proved out for him. You second guess this guy once, you second guess him twice, but somehow it proves out. I go back to that inning when he let Sammy Stewart bat for himself, and you were openly critical, Don, and I felt the same way.
Well, I was talking about the bunt situation.
Well, that too you were, yes.
That's what I was talking about.
That was back in the third when he let Stewart hit. Sammy stayed in the game, kept his bench intact, and now he uses his third consecutive pinch hitter. Lowenstein with a double. They walk Smith, and now Crowley with the bases loaded takes outside, ball 1.
Whether he ties the game or not, Earl Weaver's entire game plan now in focus, and at this point in time becomes the storyline of the game.
Pirate infield, double play depth with the bases loaded. The 1-0 pitch is beaten foul off to the right. 1-1.
Well, Tekulve worked, what, a few innings last night.
Bases loaded with DeCinces, the runner, at third, John Lowenstein at second, and Billy Smith at first. 1 out in the 8th inning. The Pirates led 4-0, then 4-3, then 5-3, and 6-3 coming into the 8th. And now it's 6-5. Crowley, second time around with the Orioles. Got the outside corner, and Crowley doesn't like that call at all.
Frankly, I don't blame him. Let's look at this one again, Twin D.
Close pitch.
One and 2. Chopped foul.
You know, sometimes you just sit back and think, and Earl Weaver right now, he's yelling for a base hit. You know that. Tekulve has worked in the last 2 games. He worked an inning in the second game, 2 innings last night. And now coming back today, and after being in 94 games in the course of the regular season.
Crowd chanting, "Let's go Bucks."
The 1-2 to Crowley is way outside. 2-2. Weaver going deep into his bench. They have only 2 non-pitchers who've not been used, Belanger and Ayala. And Dempsey.
Don't forget Rick Dempsey, because in my opinion, that's the man he might go to.
The 2-2 pitch is lined into the right field corner, and Baltimore will take the lead as DeCinces comes in to score to tie it. Smith follows to make it 7-6, and the Orioles have come up with 4 in the 8th. A double for Crowley.
It's hard to believe, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, the way that man uses the entire roster, the way every man comes through at just the right time. Look at them. There is joy there, and you can understand it. But the little cocky Banner, he's the guy. They ought to give him, if Baltimore should win the game ball, the whole 108 stitches.
So the Orioles have overtaken the Pirates. It is 7-6. Still only 1 out and runners at second and third. And he stays with Stoddard. Perry Crowley off the bench. He and Lowenstein both producing 2-run doubles in the 8th inning. Tim Stoddard up for the first time in 79. Bouncer by Madlock through the drawn-in infield. That'll score a run. Crowley stops at third, and it's 8-6.
I don't believe it.
Incredible.
I don't believe it.
Well, there's that ball again, just a high hopper, and there's a artificial surface base hit, a one-hopper by Madlock. They can only pick up 1 run as Robinson got on the ball in a hurry. And Stoddard, as you said, hasn't swung a bat all year long. Well, he has in batting practice. Baltimore's pitchers have been...
That's Stoddard's first hit in organized baseball. He never had a hit in the minors or the majors. He got a big hit at this time. It's a crazy World Series, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely crazy. But let's go back to the very beginning. Only, if the Bucs should lose this game, only 3 teams have ever rallied to win a series from a 3-1 deficit in games. The Tigers in '68. The Yankees in '58 against the then Milwaukee Braves. The Tigers did it to the Cardinals. And in 1925, when it was Forbes Field, the Bucs did it against the then Washington Senators. And if you want to look back, go to that 2nd inning. There's your runner on third base.
That's Dempsey, who goes into pinch run here. Dempsey was going to come into the game anyway to do the catching since they had hit for Skaggs. And there's Crowley.
See how the Bucs' 2 malfeasances in the 2nd inning, Don, now loom so important. They got 4 runs, a 4-0 lead. Didn't seem like anything. But boy.
Al Bumbry.
Failure to capitalize on opportunities, always caution. Now there'll be some second guessing about the use of Tekulve again, because he'd been used in the last 2 games.
1-1, especially last night. We remarked about it when he came into a game in which they were down by 4.
Yeah, but they never second-guessed Chuck Tanner when he used Kent 94 times in the regular season. And indeed, the arm has been rubber.
Bumbry, the 9th man to hit in the inning. The Orioles have scored 5 to lead at 8-6. Bumbry hits a chopper. This is going to be a tough play for Foley, who goes to Garner 1. That's all they get, and the Orioles get another run as Dempsey comes in to score from third on the force, and it is 9-6.
You turn around, they got 6 runs, and you think through the whole inning, and you wonder how they did it.
They've been that kind of a ball club. They have just been fantastic. Look at Stoddard. You think they're not happy with him? He'll never forget that base hit.
He's going to become one of Weaver's right-handed pinch hitters.
Here's the man who got it all started. Led off in the 8th inning with a base hit, the 10th man to bat. 6 runs and 5 hits in the inning for the Orioles. 0-1.
And let's go back to that base hit. It was a base hit that Parker appeared to lose for a moment.
Right?
That's
absolutely right.
Singleton followed with a hit. Murray hit into a force. DeCinces the walk. And then the big blows, the doubles by Lowenstein and Crowley. 0-2 the count.
You can't have the opportunities Pittsburgh has been given and squandered as many as they have. And even as Don mentioned, Parker misplaying Garcia's single. Remember the 3-run rally, the 3-run rally in the 3rd for the Birds was started by Matlock's error.
They said Bumbry, but it's academic because Garcia strikes out. The inning is over, but the damage was done. 6 runs, 5 hits in the middle of the 8th inning. Baltimore 9, Pittsburgh 6. Here are the changes now as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. John Lowenstein stays in the game in left field. Billy Smith stays in the game at second base. And the pinch pinch runner. Rick Dempsey stays in the game back of the plate as Phil Garner leads off. 0-1 the count.
I still don't believe this game. I don't believe Weaver. He started back. The guy never got a hit in organized baseball. Anybody else would have put up a pinch hitter. The guy gets a hit.
Little squibber. Stoddard has it. Gets Garner. And the way he utilizes pinch hitters, that was the key. It's amazing how quickly you go from dummy to genius, don't you?
I gave you the whole story. If they threw Earl in the River Charles, he'd come up on the other bank with a fruit stand.
Left fielder Bill Robinson. His first appearance at bat.
Well, you saw that report from the Cotton Bowl. Texas able to cash in with a field goal. And the Longhorns with the early lead over the Sooners, 3-0 in Dallas. Bill Robinson, he's batting in the number 9 spot. He was inserted there when he came in to replace Milner. A strike. The pitcher, Colby, is sitting in the number 5 spot. So we're down at the bottom of the order with Marino waiting on deck. Oh, 0-2 the count.
Would you have pinch hit for Stoddard?
I'd have thought probably would have. Yeah, I probably would have. I'd have tried to get as many as I could.
Not that man.
No, I'll say one thing. The way things have happened for Baltimore, maybe it's in the cards.
Frank Robinson is learning.
1-2.
I still think Frank Robinson's a good manager. He had a shot at Cleveland. He got axed. Sooner or later, they all do. But I was with him in Santurce, Puerto Rico this winter. In the Winter League. And boy, he can manipulate a ball club.
Robinson is gone.
I'll guarantee you one thing. That big guy out there on the mound right now, he is bringing it. This one right here clocked
3
at
miles an
90.
hour, Don.
He just threw it by him. Well, it's going to be interesting if this score stays the way it is right now. You know, the Bucks, their backs are to the wall. Let's see what they can do tomorrow to come back.
2 out, bases empty. Marino takes inside.
They ever give the MVP, the Babe Ruth Award, to a manager?
Did you ever see a manager get a hand like Weaver got in Baltimore when he was introduced?
Well, you'd have to do it. When you look at this right here, he would have to go right at the top of the list of things that he's done. He has proved something to me. I've seen Earl for the last, I don't know, 8 years in the American League and broadcasting American League games, but he has shown me something here that I'm scratching my head.
It's begun to bleed.
He's something else.
In there for a strike. Omar Marino, 1 for 4. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. 2-2. The omnipresent whistle.
She's an attractive lady, too.
Sure is.
They got to be shell-shocked, these Pirates. They got to be.
The fans are. You can just look around, and they are shell-shocked.
It looked like it was iced.
Remember, it was 4-0 Pittsburgh after 2.
6-3 Pittsburgh after 7. With the best relief corps in the business.
Ground ball off the glove of Garcia, who slips down. So Marino picks up his 2nd hit and his 5th in the series.
Well, Marino got it out on the end of the bat. He just hits it where nobody can make a play on it. That's all. Garcia gives it A for effort, but he's not going to be able to make a play even if he comes up with the ball. And Johnny Lowenstein just finishing out to throw it back in.
Ray Miller goes to the mound tomorrow in game number 5. We know that Mike Flanagan will be pitching for the Orioles. We assume Bruce Keeson for the Pirates. And then game 6 if necessary on Tuesday. Full pack. Don Stanhouse. Getting ready.
Stan the man unusual.
In the bullpen.
Well, if Weaver can take it with Stan, so can we.
Tim Foley's had a perfect day. 3 singles and a walk. He scored twice.
He's now 5 for 16 on the series.
0-1 the count. The Pirates with 15 hits, but only 6 runs. The Orioles with a dozen hits and 9 runs. Slow bouncer to Garcia. Kiko throwing to first, and it's dug out by Murray to end the 8th inning. Good play by Eddie as Foley flips his helmet back toward the Pirate dugout.
Tim Foley went down the line as hard as he could possibly go down the line. And just the old saying, you just can't outrun that baseball sometimes.
So 8 full in the books at Three Rivers. It's 9-6 Baltimore. To the 9th inning. It's 9-6 Baltimore. The Orioles trying to make it 3 out of 4. And Ken Singleton will be leading off. Eddie Murray and Doug DeCinces to follow against Kent to Colby. 1-0 the count.
The way the Pirates have battled back all year, who knows what they'll do in the bottom of the 9th if they can contain Baltimore here in the top of the 9th.
And they'll start it off with Parker. It'll be Parker, Stargell, and then the pitcher's spot, since the pitcher's hitting 5th.
You know, I just have to give so much credit to that Baltimore ball club. They just have battled back all year long. They've won more games than anybody in baseball, but they just don't know how to say die.
Two and 1.
For those of you expecting football, it's still going to come. Oklahoma just scored a touchdown on a pass play. They lead the Texas Longhorns 7-3. But this is baseball, a topsy-turvy World Series game.
Garner throwing out Singleton.
I don't care what the denials will be from the Bucks. If they lose this game, they have to be psychologically shell-shocked. They dominated the game until the 8th inning. They squandered countless opportunities, and they are still showing the same frailty, making the key defensive misplay. Matlock's error and Parker misplaying Garcia's single.
Well, we said before, you're going to go back and look at that 2nd inning when they scored 4 runs. Actually.
And their errors of commission on the base paths. They gave themselves 2 outs. Baltimore got only 1.
2-0 the count. Joe Torre,
yes,
manager.
Joe, I wonder how you feel when you look at Singleton and when you look at the other Mets. He is a lovely man.
Garner up with this one, and that's that for Murray. 2 down. So Eddie today 0 for 5.
You're complimenting the Baltimore club. Look in this World Series, you'll see they gave away a game, the 2nd game of the series, and they came back immediately and won in the opposition ballpark on the strange turf.
That's right. If they would have picked up that 2nd game, this would have been number 4. It might be all over today.
Well, this game's not over yet.
No, it's not. Pittsburgh's come back too many times. I mentioned last night 41 times this year they've come from behind to win. 25 at their last at bats.
2 down, the bases empty. DeCinces today 0 for 1, and he's walked 3 times. 1-0. It is blustery right now.
What it is winter.
What it is cold.
It's been winter all week. 2-0 the count.
Wonder what the weather is in Greenland. Mark Blanche, Kenny Singleton. All of them now leaning forward. Tense, eager, hoping the thing gets over.
3-0 on DeCinces, who's already drawn 3 walks. There are the totals in the top of the 9th inning. Baltimore was 6 in the 8th. And the sensei on again. So Doug has drawn 4 walks today in a game that right now is at the 3-hour and 36-minute mark. And if it winds up as a 9-inning game, it'll be the longest 9-inning game in World Series history.
And here's the man who got the first big hit with the sax clog, Johnny Lowenstein. A double into the right field corner. A ball that, as Don Drysdale said, he absolutely crushed.
He did just that. He hit it hard.
Garner for this one. And Phil takes care of everybody in the inning. At the end of 8 1/2, it remains Baltimore 9, Pittsburgh 6. Benny Ayala is now the only non-pitcher Earl Weaver has not used as he inserts Mark Belanger in at shortstop as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chevrolet. Like baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie, Chevy is an American favorite. See the exciting lineup of 1980 Chevrolets at your Chevy dealers. By Lowenbrow, when you want the taste of a truly great American beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow. And by Actra, for closeness with comfort, it's Gillette's best shave. Bottom of the 9th inning, Parker, Stargell, and a pinch hitter, Tim Stoddard.
There's no quitting this crowd. It's kind of a good thing. We saw it between innings and during the break. They stood as one, and to Sister Sledge's rendition of We Are Family, they danced and sang together. And they cheered Dave Parker when he got up. I said it yesterday, I say it again. It's something to see the spirit in Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and what a successful sports franchise can do for a city.
Into the first quarter at the Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma leading Texas 7-3. We'll be going there right after this one. As you looked into the Pirate dugout when Parker went back there, Mike Easler had a bat in his hands. So he figures to be the pinch hitter. He'll be coming up 3rd in the inning. Parker 2 hits today, a single and a double. 7 hits in the 4 games. One and one. Misses Dave Parker. Amongst a crowd of more than 50,000. And they are shell-shocked, but as Howard just said, lively as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Parker on a check swing. It's in there anyway for a strike, and the count is 1-2.
What a pitch that was.
Kent to Colby.
Now this pitch right. Dave wanted to try and maybe go. He didn't want to pull the trigger, but it caught right at the knee.
Got him looking on the inside corner. Dave Parker strikes out.
David knew it. David knew it. Great professional that he is. He was caught with that tight pitch.
Stargell, a home run and a double. Grounded into center field for a base hit. So the Bucks get a man on with 1 out as Willie picks up his 3rd hit of the day and his 7th in the series.
What a remarkable player. And he symbolizes this Pittsburgh club. He's its leader. On the field.
Stargell talking to the catcher, Rick Dempsey. Dempsey yelling something down to Willie. And how in the world did you hit that?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, why did you even hit that pitch?
Here is Mike Easler. Pinch hitting with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Mike Easler is heading for Kent Jacoby. Mike Easler.
Easler batting for Jacoby. Madlock on deck. Stargell at first base.
Well, the key base hit of the ball game right now belongs to that big man standing in the middle of the diamond.
Stoddard. That's why the whole thing is.
Easler hits it in the air to left field, but Lowenstein has a play and makes the catch.
That's why Weaver is the storyline of this game. Everything he did was against the book, unorthodox, and he made it all work, or at least his team did.
Third baseman, Bill Madlock.
Bill Madlock with 2 out in the 9th inning.
Now the fans begin to drift out.
There he is. He is a genius. He is.
There's always a kind of twinkle in his eye, even when he's losing, you know? He enjoys what he does. He enjoys the fullness of his life. So does Willie Stargell. You've done the work Willie Stargell has done, seen the sufferings of people.
Madlock taking all the way. It's a strike, 1-1.
Try to alleviate those sufferings. You can cope with defeat. And he hasn't lost yet. He hasn't given up yet. I mean, on the whole World Series. Maybe not even on this game, but certainly not on the whole World Series.
Well, the one thing, the Bucks will know what they have to do tomorrow. There's only one thing they can look for. They've got to win.
Chopped foul, so the Orioles a strike away from going up 3 games to 1. 1-2 on Madlock. Tomorrow we know it's Flanagan. Probably Keeson for the Bucks.
There's Keeson right there. They're just on the right of your screen. To Covey. And then Keeson. That could probably be tomorrow's pitcher. Robinson in between.
1-2. Outside. The Pirates squandering numerous opportunities. 16 hits. They've out-hit the Orioles 16-12. The 2-2 to Madlock is just outside.
Oh,
for 3.
This now is critical to start it. Madlock gets on. The potential tying run comes to the plate. Bring it down to the very end, Donald.
Right down to it.
And slice it with a knife.
3-2. 2 outs.
Ed Ott is on deck. Madlock pops it foul. Back with first. Murray will give chase but run out of room. 3-2.
Here's the man that Stoddard wants right here. He does not want to have to go to Ott representing the tying run.
Not only that, Eddie can hit it out on it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a southpaw hitter, and he can hit it out on it.
Well,
Decent power.
Stanhouse and Martinez are throwing in the Baltimore bullpen. That's Ott. That's Martinez, a left-hander. Stanhouse, a right-hander.
Madlock hits it to center field, and Bunbury will have to play it on a hop. So the Pirates keep it alive, and the tying run will come to the plate.
Quit. I never heard of the word. Neither of these two teams. 17 hits for the Bucks. Started 1 strike away from victory. But Madlock, a truly exceptional hitter. And now Eddie Ott. Tying run at the plate. The potential tying run. There's the graphic. It gives you the story.
Weaver going to stay with Stoddard, knowing that if he brings in Martinez, Tanner would figure to go to the bench, maybe for Rennie Sennett. So Ott, the tying run at the plate. 0-1.
Ooh, and he had a swing. I mean, you talk about unbuttoning those top few buttons and take a good swing. He did just that.
The other man that Tanner could have gone to, had the left-hander come in, would have been Lee Lacy. But Weaver
that man you don't want to bring in.
Weaver
you don't want to see come in. Hit 5 pinch hit home runs for the Dodgers in Lasorda.
So Weaver figuring he's better off having Stoddard pitch to Ott.
And Stoddard is airing it out right now, I'll tell you that.
Stargell at third and Madlock at first. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back. 1-2.
Crowd
will be going right to the Cotton Bowl at the conclusion of this one. Oklahoma leading Texas 7-3 early second quarter. 1-2.
What a ball game. What a pair of teams.
Foul out of play again.
Ott hanging tough. Started not wanting to get the ball up and out. Where Ott can get a hold of it. Send it out of sight.
Well, the one thing we haven't had is a home run hit to right.
That
Foul
did it.
tipped and held by Dempsey. So Baltimore goes up 3-1. The Orioles, for the second day in a row, come from behind. And that symbolizes the Pirate frustration. They cannot believe it. Earl Weaver. What a job of manipulating and maneuvering. And the Orioles win it by a score of 9-6.